The following is a presentation of the ForceCenter podcast feed.
I think at one point I envisioned a very sexy voiceover from myself going over that intro, but you can't play the videos and then do voiceover live. So, hey, everybody. Welcome to ForceCenter Presents OtherCenter. I'm Ken Napzok.
So it wasn't just my internet that our theme music started boldly, proudly, and then stopped for a little while?
And then just fades out. Fades out. I have to go back and edit that. I will one day. Hey, Fred.
Yeah, very happy to be here. Welcome, everyone. And we're so excited to have Jennifer and an animal, maybe?
Mala.
Mala.
Yes, she's in a festive mood. She's such
Yay.
oh my gosh. Oh, she needs a haircut.
What
She needs a haircut.
other than the connection with the name Mala, did you just like look at that face and go, oh, that's a Mala?
100%. I mean, if I had gotten a Brussels Griffon, I would have probably named it Wicket, right? But this girl, she is definitely Mala, and she's a loose cannon, so I'll have to mute myself if she tries barking.
All
It's a
good.
great dog name to yell, too. Happy to see the dog, upset with the dog's activities. Either way, Mala is a great yelling name.
Mala.
Yeah, that was part of my day. Just came from the vet picking up both dogs, where Baxter is loved and respected by the vets and vet techs and staff. Francis, they actually don't look me in the eye. They just hand her back with a Hannibal Lecter face guard and just go.
Oh.
There you go. Well, we're here live. As I said, I'm Ken Napzok, Joseph Scrimshaw, Jennifer Landa. We're here as we always often are once a month. This is ForceCenter Presents OtherCenter, Joseph. This is questions of the other variety.
That is right. And we have done a lot of reviewing of why we're not currently talking about that other galaxy. But since this is YouTube, maybe just a quick review. I think a lot of our everybody who's watching now has probably heard this before, but, you know, we record these and they end up on YouTube long term. So long story short, the SAG After Strike in particular put out very, very clear guidelines for people who are members of SAG or want to be members in the future, that they are not asking people to boycott any work by struck companies in particular, but they're asking us not to promote it. And they put out clear guidelines that if you're in SAG or want to be in SAG and you do a podcast, they're asking us not to promote by covering current, past, or future work of struck companies. Jennifer is in SAG. Ken is SAG eligible. I would like to be SAG eligible someday and have contracts out with SAG as a producer. So because of those clear guidelines and because of our support of the actual strikes, we have decided to become OtherCenter for a while. It's been scary, but also rewarding because so many people have jumped on and been excited to support us. So many of our listeners, I think we've got some new listeners. And I'm at the point, Ken, Jennifer, where I have turned the corner from fear to fun. It's fun and exciting to cover new topics. I'm excited to do questions of another variety. And I normally wear a robe from a certain order. And today I wore a cape because why not? It's fun.
Now, this is, of course, the cape pictured in the thumbnail, and that is, that's you're always been a distinguished, handsome gentleman, but I can tell that's maybe an earlier run in your career. As even my beard has gotten more gray from this picture, which is only 3 years old. How long have you had that robe, that cape, I should say?
This cape was made for me, I believe, in the year 1995 by my brother's girlfriend at the time. This cape has been, this cape is I should be putting it through college at this point. It's been with me so long. That's the age of this cape.
Wow.
I love that. I knew it had some history. Once I saw it on you today, I was like, we all have those items. I'm sure, Jen, you probably have some, musical theater prop or something that I don't think you were in musical theater, but you're probably.
I do. I have my old Princess Jasmine shoes from Disneyland.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
That's right. And Mala agrees. That's one of the big items of business up top. Just explain it again. And eventually it's just going to be like, we don't need to explain it. You guys check in and hear what's going on. But we also know some new people coming in, or people who haven't checked in with us in a while. One of the rewards of OtherCenter, we've had a couple people actually come and go, hey, I kind of drifted off, not because of you guys or even the thing that you covered. I just, didn't listen as much anymore. And then the OtherCenter stuff's kind of brought me back. Not that they don't want to hear about the other stuff, which we will be talking about again here one day. So that's been kind of a fun journey. We want to highlight some of the other shows that we've talked about. You can go find our favorite bands. This week we had a great Q's of the Other with some travel and music. We just can't stop talking about music, and we won't. And then our favorite books, which this wasn't my greatest thumbnail ever made. The fact that I had to look for Kurt Vonnegut, Douglas Adams, and William Shakespeare and try to remove backgrounds on those photos was an absolute dream for me.
The rough and tumble Photoshop or Photoshop Lite that you used is apparent, but the selections you made and the emotions of those gentlemen is phenomenal. That's chef's kiss. That's
was like, you know what? I was having coffee. Go, oh, damn it! I need a thumbnail. What do I do for Vonnegut? Oh, and then there's so many wonderful black and white photos. He's got such a story in his face. It was fun to put together. Yeah. So that's one of the things as well. And Joseph, we want to get to the questions, but we also want to let people know we had hit a goal over on Patreon. Thanks to those who support us, and a big fun show's coming.
Yeah, we were bleeding on Patreon for a minute there because we totally understand and respect people who are like, I am here for that other galaxy. So some people they left nice messages explaining that they're stepping away. But there was a big step away, and we had put a call out for, hey, can you help us a little bit? And instead of just helping us, you got us past a goal that we'd had for a while, and we were going to do a special ranked episode that's live for patrons, so you can respond in the chat, and then eventually we'll make that available to the general public. So not only did you help us stop bleeding, you blew us past that goal. So we haven't set the date yet that we're going to do that live patron ranked, but we have set a topic, and it is going to be one that I think we're going to have a lot to say. Our favorite desserts. Oh yeah. It'll be hard to contain, and I think there'll be a lot of opinions in the chat, which is what we want.
Also, there's a good chance I might just bring some of the desserts to the show.
I like that. It's a good excuse.
There we go. I love this comment coming in. Jonathan Steelflex. Ken and Jen, you look great as always, but Joseph, this may be my favorite photo of you. So I think so too.
It was for a one-person show I did called the Sad Vampire Comedy Hour, where it was a kind of a postmodern show where I was doing stand-up as a vampire and then feeling guilty about it, and it was a whole thing. But that photo, I just got lucky. I look that's how I want to believe I look all the time, but I don't.
In yourself. That's all that matters. We're about to get to it. And Jen, I know we don't have you for the entire length of the show, most likely, unless you want to day drink with us till early evening and your kids can walk home from school or something. I'm sure we'll all have fun.
Yeah.
Mala will take them home. But we also want to highlight that, hey, we're taking questions from the audience, questions of the other variety, questions about life, as you've been promoting, Joseph, which is, I think, a great way to look at it. Super chats and super thanks. We already got some coming in and some super stickers. Very much appreciated, especially right now. But doesn't keep you from the conversation. We'll be taking questions as best we can, but we're definitely putting a call out for super chats and super chat questions as well. You know the drill there. All right. Jen, do you have any questions? Did you star any questions? Did you see any questions that you want to answer first? I think it's only appropriate.
Wait, where are the questions? I think I had this problem last time.
There's a tab that's if you go to chat, there's a tab that says starred. And then you can see the ones that Ken and I figured this out after making absolute fools of ourselves multiple times and figuring out that's a way to keep track of the questions.
Is it? Wait, where?
Oh, you might not have access to that.
Oh, yeah, this is terrible.
Because yeah. So if you see anything, we are monsters. It's an admin issue, and I can only have 2 admins on this payment plan.
So, hey, Ken, before we start the questions, I know we've been going for, almost 10 minutes now, and we're still doing the setup business. But I am curious what you're drinking, because I got a special drink for this special show.
I'm going simple. There's a chance we're doing this a little early, so we could hopefully, get our European and UK friends and other friends from around the world on the show at a bit of an earlier time. So I didn't want to go too heavy. So I'm just going with my Truly's. No, it's not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. But there is a certain box. It seemed to be seasonal for the summer. Grace and I discovered it, and it has some of our favorite flavors. I got lemon ice and cherry pop. There's a blue raz, and it's been our favorite flavors to have. So
lemon ice.
Yes.
Lemon ice, huh? Not just lemon. Lemon ice. Okay.
Lemon
I decided to be there. We have one beer left in the fridge that Sarah likes too. And I was just like, I need a beer. I'm going to take it. And then I felt like an ass. So I actually decided to be adventurous since this is an adventurous stream. I bought this way too long ago, so it might not be good. It's 6 months old. It is just like a kind of a handcrafted, printed on label. It is called Rocket Queen, a song by one of my favorite bands. And it's apparently rum and sugar. So we'll see how this goes. I wanted to share and warn in case I need help.
6 months. I got some beers that are about seven months. I don't drink a lot of beer, but I think that's okay. That's okay. But 6 months, rum and sugar. This is going to be fun.
It tastes as assertive as the song Rocket Queen, which is great.
I love that. I got to say, who does that song?
Guns N' Roses.
Oh.
I'm a greatest hits Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, me too.
I know.
Me too.
I'm sorry. It's not a deep. It's the last track on Appetite.
There you go.
It's a good one. It's an infamous one.
Jen, what are you down in?
I had a smoothie. I came from the picket line, so I was kind of rushing. But I just found this water from yesterday's picket line. Boxed water that's, I don't know if I want to drink it. Is it okay to drink boxed water that's been sitting out that was open from yesterday in the hot sun? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe.
Fine.
I may get desperate. Yeah.
I want to thank Addie for assuring me that this Rocket Queen will not murder me live on YouTube. Addie says, 6 months should be okay. I'm a chemist. Thank you, Addie.
Addie's wonderful. She's come on over from the Catchley Talk world, and she's very insightful. Absolutely love that. But Jen, I think you're fine. You just re-chill the water, and you're good to go.
There you go. I mean, it's boxed. Oh, there's something on the bottom. It's boxed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're good. How quickly, Jen? What's the tone and tenor on the lines? The enthusiasm, the energy. Anyone dismayed, overwhelmed? How's it going out there?
I mean, I went to the Latinas Acting Up picket line today, and I was like, I went to the club. I was like, I have not gone out like this in years. There was music, we were dancing. It was amazing. I loved it. So that was really exciting, and it was all about community. And Luis Guzman was there, and he said FAI, which we all cheered. Yeah. So that was a bright moment. But it is. This strike is going really long, and it's hard to see when it's going to end, especially since the studios are doing some not so great tactics. But I've been hearing a few more months. Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, we'll be talking about desserts for a while.
This is just going to be our top 5 desserts. We'll get down to what are your bottom 50 desserts?
Oh yeah. What are your desserts for breakfast? Like what?
Right.
There you go. All right. Let's dive into some questions here.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm scrolling for the questions. We'll start with an early one. Ooh. Jared Willett says, what's an instrument you'd love to learn to play? Jennifer, do you play any instruments?
I do. I play piano. I played it competitively. Yeah. When I was a kid, I would love to learn. I played the violin. I played the flute, drums. And I know you play, Joseph. It's an instrument I've kind of dabbled in. But that'd be so much fun. Just hash out your aggression through song.
That is great. I'm more than happy to leave the questions up as we answer them, but I'm also going to acknowledge that it turns me into a weird little peeping Tom person.
Yeah. I'll just do that.
Okay.
There you go. That's people know. You all know who we are out there, right?
Yeah.
Information down below if you don't.
Yeah.
I would like to finish learning guitar. There's no I don't need to be fancy with it. I know maybe that's a cliche, grabbing an acoustic guitar and learning some chords. But I started when I was about 20 because I wanted to be a songwriter and stuck in morning radio in my head, and this is what I was doing. And I stuck with it for about a year, and then I just stopped. It just stopped. I just stopped. There's no reason. I just stopped. I was seeing improvement. I had my little finger. I was doing my little finger test. My fingers were getting strong. Everything was good. I went and bought a tambourine just in case I got asked into a band. And I had a really crappy acoustic guitar. It was like a hand-me-down of a hand-me-down from a garage sale type of situation. So I don't know. One of those days. I say it's cliche. I don't mean that's not to be disparaging. I have a lot of friends who late in life have been like, you know what? I'm going to learn 3 chords and sing the truth. And that's something I think maybe one day I'll finally do.
So how far along were you? Do you feel like if you picked it up now, you could do like 1 chord, 2 chords?
I could do a G.
I
kind of remember G. Kind of.
You're a G man.
I'm a G man. Kind of remember the G.
How about more than words? Don't it?
Yeah. I'll do more than words. I'll do Mr. Biggs.
Yes.
I'll do it all. I'll do name. I'll get name from Google Dolls down too. Yeah. And electric guitar. I wanted to finally get to that because I love acoustic guitar. I love the acoustic music, and I know a lot of people don't, but I like old broken souls singing with acoustic guitars. But it's hard to not look at electric guitar and be like, that's cool. And whoever knows how to play that is cool.
Yeah. I don't want to learn to play guitar, but I want to be able to pick them out to buy just because they look cool. Not. I already collect enough things. I don't have to collect electric guitars.
Yeah.
Guitar, I'm tempted to be my answer. I tried to learn guitar in like 7th grade, and I think I got to like 1 chord, and then my fingers hurt and got grumpy. And then the drums were a natural thing for me to learn because my dad was able to just teach me at home, which was great. And then I could, practice in the basement. And as Jennifer, as you said, hit things, which was great. It helped a lot. So I think probably if I could learn something, it would be vibraphone, because then I could do melody while still hitting things.
Wow.
Talk about working things out.
Yeah. Well, and I love vibraphone.
Yeah, that's see, we could form a little ForceCenter, OtherCenter band.
Sure. We just need a bass player.
Yeah. We'll see how long the strike goes, and might be down to the ForceCenter live band rehearsal.
We just gotta get you back on drums, Joseph, and then we'll put like a little xylophone kind of like thing here where you can ding, and then I'll strum the G chord all day long.
And then Jennifer will play beautiful, perfect piano. Well,
the keyboards
clunking around.
And Maddie Gunner's here. Maddie Gunner says, I learned how to yell really loud. Didn't take long. So there you go. We'll have Maddie. We need to. Hey, Molly Damon's here. Molly and Alex. Dragon Con, which just means they're pacing themselves with things like this.
Wow.
And Molly sent me a very nice tweet asking if I was going to drink something different or special for the questions of another variety. So I did. It was inspiring to drink my rum.
Rum and sugar.
My rum and sugar drink. I think there's something else besides sugar. But
what else do you need? That's it.
Cinnamon. That's all.
Oh, that's good. No, that's a good addition. Yeah.
Hello, Molly. I'm drinking a Rocket Queen, which is rum and sugar and cinnamon. It's very good.
Some more questions coming in, but I want to highlight this statement here from Modern Sketches. Hey, ForceCenter, great seeing the narrator in Portland.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming.
Wonderful. That's amazing.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. It was so much fun to see the film on not just on a big screen, but on a giant screen, because it was the Science Center IMAX. Wow. Just bonkers.
That is great. The festival, you're on the festival circuit.
I am.
We're happy and proud.
I'm an award-winning filmmaker because I won one award, but technically.
Have you added that to any of your social media bios?
No, not yet. Yeah, not awards winning, award winning. One.
So a couple things here from JC to want to highlight. Thank you for the super chat and the kind words. Cheers. Here's to a principled stand being stood. Let's OtherCenter, who's with me. We appreciate it. And, Joseph, you put out a great statement, short essay, really, explaining a little bit more of your reasons and our reasons behind doing this. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on Joseph's Twitter page, Threads page, Blue Sky, probably all of them. I don't know.
It's just Twitter right now. I haven't cut and paste to Blue Sky yet. But.
Yeah, there you go. And it's one of them. We appreciate it. We want to acknowledge that this is a choice for us. It's not necessarily the choice of others. Others have made for good reason for themselves, and not everyone has to kind of pay close attention to the rules as we do or that we want to. And it's good. And we support so many of our wonderful friends who are doing great work, not just talking about that Star Wars galaxy, but also highlighting the information of the strikes and just kind of making sure people continue to be aware of what's going on. So we really appreciate all that there. But JC has that super chat, but also this question: weirdest physical location you've ever recorded a podcast or similar? Jenna, I'll start with you because I'm working through some choices.
So, well, you guys know, well, okay, back in the day when I was doing the Jedi Beat and I had my firstborn, it was just, I had to make sure that everything was silent. So I would go in the car and record. That's kind of not normal, but it's not as crazy. But more recently, I think during the pandemic, I had to go in the bathroom. And I put my mic on the toilet, and I'm, that's not a position that you want to find yourself in, which some of us have found ourselves in, after too much rum and cokes. But yeah, it does a job. It has decent acoustics. So the bathroom.
Okay. Hey, no, that's why, the best singing and the best stand-up sets I have are in the shower when you're working out the jokes and the acoustics make it sound like you know what you're talking about.
We should all have a sound dampening bathroom. I think that's a cultural gift to all of us.
Yes.
Yeah. I think some of my answers, Joseph, might be tied to yours quite literally.
Probably. Yeah. But I want to hear your answers.
Yeah. I mean, we've recorded a lot of episodes in hotel rooms, and I don't necessarily think that's the weirdest place. We've done it in different ways. Like in Chicago, I have a little mic, this right here, this little microphone, and you just plug it in your phone, and it's pretty good quality stuff. And I remember in Chicago, this is what ForceCenter was recorded on. You and I kind of hunched over a table, I think, in your hotel room. And then Anaheim, because I'm an hour away, I live here. I literally just packed all this stuff up, brought it to the hotel room, set it up. We used it once, and I didn't need any of it. Really.
You had so much gear in a hotel room. It looked like we were some sort of FBI group spying on somebody else, and that was like all of our tech in the motel room.
We looked like the tech guy from Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah.
Don't touch that. So I tell you to do your job. So those are some of the weirdest spots. I've also, I think it's mostly hotel rooms. I think maybe cars. I recorded an episode of an early episode of Saturday Night Napzok when it was a little bit less scripted and character driven. It was just me being a little looser. I recorded it in a car on the way to Vegas with Mark Ellis driving, Christian Ruvalcaba, and my partner Grace. And I just kept kind of handing the phone around and getting. That's not too weird, but it was a little hard to put together. It doesn't sound as good as you think when you're like get home and all you hear is so.
Yeah, I think for our ForceCenter broadcasting career, I think the most sort of weird was London, because is London, but also that we just wanted to stay in the closest place, and for some reason, the rooms that were available were on that yacht that's parked. Yes. So it was really weird to be like, we're recording on a yacht, just because it's the closest walk to the convention center.
A more permanently moored yacht.
Yep.
Yep. I'm already missing our time in London.
Me too. I went through the photos for we talked about travel in one of our recent episodes. So I was going through London photos to grab travel photos. This is not a podcast. I think probably the weirdest performance space. I was involved for a long time with the Minnesota Fringe Festival, which is an unjuried theater festival. So there's so many people who apply, it's a lottery now. So it's only up to the lottery and the payment whether you get in. And for a while they had a BYOV, a bring your own venue section, where you could kind of get in if you're like, it's not at one of the theaters that the festival runs. You can do it anywhere that's ticketed. And this was the wild days where it's allowed anywhere. And one of the venues that I don't think it was even in the festival, but we had a different show running there during the year. and it had a basement green room, which was kind of a grungy green room, but it had this weird hole in the wall that just happened to fit like about 3 people to sit in it because it was up in the middle of the wall. And my friend was just like, we should do a doll's house because it's all about feeling contained, and it should just be 3 of us crunched in this hole for an hour. And it's like, yeah, I'd be up for it. So we did an hour-long adaptation of a doll's house, literally in a hole in the wall and I think we could only fit 15 people. So we did like 10 performances for 15 people in a hole in the wall.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Was it like, was there plaster coming off? Like, was it a finished hole in the wall or like?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't, I don't think I swallowed asbestos, but maybe. I mean, it wasn't like that grungy, but like, I have no idea what it would have been for or why it was there.
Yeah.
You know, that was part of the fun mystery of it. The basement of the Acadia in South Minneapolis. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, one of the weirder ones, again, it's not too weird, but having to do some audio, some VO for your latest short, Joseph, where that was like one of the last things we did was you, me, and the sound girl in the car, in her car, all windows up, starting to sweat, and I'm screaming and growling.
Yeah,
in your car while you recorded, and you're directing.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a part of the film that I don't want to publicize, but I've almost published some photos from that because that was so much fun.
Yeah,
yeah, some great photos there, and Ken did an amazing job. I can't wait to share it.
Too kind. Brandon,
I've listened to it a lot. It's
you might.
I've listened to it a lot.
Thank you, Brandon. No question. Just wanted to say you guys rock the Casbah. Rock the Casbah. Sharif don't like it. All right, I don't want to get don't want to get us demonetized here on YouTube, which has happened. I had to mute when I streamed Fortnite. I had to mute most of the songs because you're in a truck and Metallica's played, and then YouTube's like, "Did you play Metallica?" Because Lars needs that money. So there you go.
Those guys are not lenient.
Nope. All right, Jen. Anything popping out? See anything in chat? Let us know. I'll find it. Give me a time code, and I'll pull it back.
I don't see anything in the chat. I have no chat.
Are you looking at the live comments, or you can just go to the YouTube? You might be a little delayed, but if you go to YouTube and bring it up, but don't worry about that.
Oh, I could go to YouTube. Yeah, maybe I will go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
Maybe I will.
I heard it's a safe space for all of us. Greer, I saw that comment. I walked around the front of that convention center so many times, and someone never noticed a yacht hotel. That's impressive. It's a pretty sizable yacht right there at the convention.
But you really do have to kind of, if you're coming at it from a different direction, the yacht is it's a little bit of a chameleon.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Greer. All right, Joseph, anything jump out to you? Jen, let me know.
Let's see. When I'm hitting show and hide, that it is lagging a little bit for me. So Ken, I'm going to rely on you. I'm hitting show now.
It's there.
A question up there. All right, there you go.
Yes, Molly.
Our wonderful friend Molly. Thank you for the very kind super chat. Molly says, "Are you all into any fun board card games? I always recommend Mysterium to anyone who hasn't played." Ken, what is are you board and card game agnostic or actively hostile?
No. I like them and miss them, but we have a bunch here. I'd have to ask Grace. I bet she would want to play. Even when I go back home, sometimes my mom and dad will be like, "Want to play a board game?" And I'll say like, "No," because I just, I don't know. That's not what I go home for anymore. But I actually love them. Was a big fan of Sorry, big fan of Life, big fan of all the classics. My dad and I used to play Stratego until the cows would come home, or he'd just destroy me every time without mercy. It was so I miss it stuff. I'm a big fan of Uno, classic Uno. There was also a version, a similar game called Skip Bo. And in my radio days, me and the night DJ Megan, when we were kind of friends and hanging out, I go to the studio. She'd do her shift, but we'd play Skip Bo. and dream about. We heard that George Lucas guy was making some new films, and we were very excited about it. And we just talk about it as we played Skip-Bo for hours.
That is great. Yeah. They used to be a big part of my life because of friends in Minneapolis. I have a good friend who is a great game master for RPGs and loves board games. So he would just really curate them and teach us all the rules. So it was a hobby that I was able to get into with no effort, because it'd just be like, go to Pat's house and you'd play whatever fun game. I know a lot of people in the gaming world are like, yep, it's great, but we've played it to death. But I really liked Settlers of Catan. That was a favorite one. We would play some fighting games. There's some Lovecraft ones, kind of obscure one called Hills Rise Wild, where the objective was allegedly to find something, but everybody discovered the best way to find something on the map is to first annihilate all your friends. This was one of those games that, like, this is really fun for the first 2 hours, and then the second 2 hours, we're all kind of mad at each other, and then have to apologize the next day, but in a fun way. So that's big. Sarah, my wife, is a big fan of trains. So we have a couple of train games we play. There's a game called British Rails that's got little crayons that you can draw on the board, and then you can wipe it off, so you can play again and again. And it's just a commerce game of you need this much. You start with this much capital, and you get asked to make deliveries, and you draw your train route around the UK. So we do that every once in a while and enjoy it very much.
Oh, it sounds so nice. I like that.
Fun.
Very
Jen?
peaceful. I'm actually been banned by all my family members now from playing card games. When I went with my family recently, we decided to play Uno because my daughter loves Uno. And I know that when you have Uno and you put the card down, you then say Uno. I did not say it immediately as I was putting the card down, and my family members were like, you lost. I said, no, it was bad, you guys. It was a tense family moment. My in-laws were there. They did not see a good side of me. And I've been dubbed a poor sport, which I will own. Oh my God.
Okay.
Really?
I'm swinging here to defend you. So, full disclosure, I love this game so much that when we had the GPA going over there with Mark Riley and Josh McCougan and Eric Bass and I was planning to launch a show called High Stakes Fun, which basically was going to be Uno on camera. It just didn't work out. So I still own those rights. I still own it. Jen, I'm defending you. I think there's a beat involved. I think there's a beat. There's a sports person beat that needs to happen that you don't need to say Uno as you're coming down the slide with the card.
That's what I'm saying. I want to take the dramatic pause of I set it down and then it's Uno, and I make eye contact with everyone so they make sure that they hear me, not as it was so bad.
Yeah, I would say that's some what we call rules lawyering, getting really, really pedantic about it.
For NFL football fans or football fans out there, it's the football move on the instant replay for like a fumble. Receiver catches the ball, makes a football move, then anything after that's a fumble. Before that, it's an incomplete pass. So what I'm saying is, you didn't make an Uno move, Jen. You're coming down. You have card goes down. You have a beat to say Uno. That's what
This to me is a rich topic because it's about the philosophy of letter versus spirit. Is it somebody who is well aware of the rules and they fudged it and they're trying to get away with something? Then okay. But if it's like, come on, the spirit of this is fun. You're not playing, Uno colon hyper accuracy. Like is that the goal?
Yeah,
it's family fun.
It's supposed to be family. My poor 4-year-old and 8-year-old were just like, and mom and dad were going at it, and my 80-year-old in-laws are just like, just let her have it. Let her have it.
Let her have it. See, my thing is here, like, is if I've got my cards here, and I like taking a dramatic pause. So if I put this down, Uno, or I put it down and look at you. I have two, no Uno. It's just strategy. It's a little fun, little mind games. I don't know if I can play with you at your house, Jen. I don't know if I'd be allowed.
Well, you and I can play, but
I don't think I've played Uno since I was 8, so I'll make a lot of mistakes. And you guys can hold me to it, the letter of the law.
That was a great question. Great question, Molly, because our
Yes.
passions are coming out of Uno.
And yeah, many people are saying Ticket to Ride is a fun trading board game. And I believe that it is because my wife and I play that British Rails game and love it so much. The place that my wife worked when we lived in Minneapolis was train related. She worked at the James J. Hill House, and James J. Hill built one of the big train lines. So on her last day of work at the James J. Hill House, I bought her a copy of Ticket to Ride. That was now 9 years ago. We still haven't played it because we're waiting for a special day. Problem. Too many, just like my Rocket Queen drink. Too long waiting for a special day. Got to do it.
Well, Jack Cole says board game called Shadows of Brimstone. It's basically Red Dead Redemption meets Call of Cthulhu. There are map boards and minis so good.
Wow.
I'm intrigued because I do I didn't go deep into the D&D because I wasn't allowed to as a kid in the Satanic Panic 80s, but I do love it. And as I said before, was blessed to have a lot of close contact and friendships with a lot of people who are now in Critical Role. And I'd never played. I played D&D once with them, but we'd bring out like Mansions of Madness and some of those kind of like mid-level kind of games, and I had a lot of fun doing that because I have no strategy. I charge ahead to almost to the point where my team gets upset at me. Actually, they have, but I like that kind of stuff, and that sounds fun. Sounds like something I could do.
Leroy Napzok. Many people are calling for some sort of live ForceCenter Uno, which. Yeah, I'm up for that. We did that one Monopoly, the Other Galaxy Monopoly.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's on the YouTube channel. Yeah.
Play a really intense game and see which one of us breaks first. We people enjoy our podcast because we try to be pleasant and positive while also being honest that we wrestle with anger as well.
Yeah.
What would it take to break OtherCenter? Is it Uno?
I'm telling you, maybe we'll just launch high stakes fun. Let's do it here. Love all. That was a great question, Molly.
Yeah, absolutely great.
There you go. Something jumping out to you, Jen?
No, I just finally found the chat. It was just my
good. I think Ken, we're on to a pick for you.
There you go. That is. We'll take the tensions back from the board games. We'll go to Natalie Franchini's question here. You're stuck in a desert island. You can pick 3 types of chips to eat. What are they? Chips, potato chips, the classic chips, all those kind of things versus what chips means in other parts of the world. I know. My answer has changed, and it's changed over the years. Joseph, where do you go? I don't know your chip tastes. In fact, all the meals I've had with you, I can't recall you diving into chips too much.
I'm not a huge chip aficionado, so yes, let's. I'm the week opener, and then we'll go to YouTube because you are the chip superheroes of the team. I like potato chips, so I would probably go with some kind of just relatively like a nacho cheese Dorito. That's pretty good if you're gonna get junky. And then there is some brand that I like that's like, I don't know, air puffed or air popped or whatever. It's got some description that makes it slightly healthier, and I like those. But basically, if it's got cheese on it, I'm good.
Yeah, like a super cheesy ruffle, like a cheddar ruffle.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything that can trap the cheese, better.
I like that. Jen, where you go with this? Natalie's asking about 3 types of chips. Do you even need
types of chips? Well, yeah, okay, I got some
flavors, types, styles. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I need to have a Diet Coke. And Diet Cokes need to be present on this desert island. Otherwise, it's going to be a little depressing. So I need kettle chips, the sea salt and vinegar. I need to have Sun Chips, the Harvest Cheddar. I feel like it's got some sustenance, but it still is really salty, right? It keep me full on that desert island. And then the last one are the Trader Joe's mochi bites. Oh my gosh, I can eat a whole bag. And I've stopped buying them because I just literally go through like several bags a week. So good. Has anyone had it? It's really delicious.
Well, Grace and I have a Trader Joe's trip scheduled because she would probably go there every time we shop. I like Trader Joe's, but despise every parking lot they own. So it turns into kind of a fight. And so we have to schedule it. We're scheduled it way in advance. But I'm going to point, she might really enjoy that. The mochi bites?
Yeah, I believe they're mochi bites. They're so good. They don't always have them, but they are in the chip aisle.
See, the Harvest, the Sun Chips, those unfortunately for me always make me just think of like kind of the awkward homeschool kid, and the mom gives you the Sun Chips. You want Lay's, and you're just like, Eric's mom gave me Sun Chips. I never.
Oh no, that actually describes me perfectly.
We in our house we love what Grace calls chippies, and our dogs love chippies as well. You mentioned the sea salt and vinegar, salt and vinegar, or we call in the house salt and vinnies. I've been ordered by Grace this week to not buy them anymore, at least for a while, because we are downing 2 to 3 bags a week and not even trying.
Yeah.
Just one of those, like, you want some chippies? Okay, I'll get you salt and vinnies. Okay, honey. And I'll pour a little bowl. Next thing you know, the whole bag's gone. So that's my number one go-to right now. Sour cream and onion over the years. Depending on the brand, and then it's kind of wide open. I kind of go, look like the cheddar ruffles or something like that. And then there was this Farmer's Ranch from the Kettle Chip folks that I thought like Homestead Ranch or something like that. I was like, this feels like a cowboy snack, and I did not like it. I didn't even finish it. So I'll take a wild swing on some chips. But if I'm stuck on a desert island, I think it's going to be just sour cream and onion and salt and vinnies. That's all I need. The third one, it's a wild card. I don't need it. Coconut.
How do you feel about barbecue? And would you like it better if you could call it barbecuity?
That's probably what Grace will call it.
We need some barbecuities.
I do love a good barbecue chip but just I have to get the snack pack back. Because if I get like the big family size, share size, halfway through it becomes too sweet and I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I always think I really love barbecue, and then I eat too much, and then a friend turns mean very quickly.
And Jack Cole's asking, there's this, have you guys tried the air fried kettle chip salt and vinnies? That's the problem, Jack.
Is that what you're eating?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah, that would be deadly. Because I'm like, they're air fried or air crisp or whatever.
Yeah. Love that stuff. Now I'm hungry.
Veggie straws. Yes.
Big Lou. We get the giant bag of veggie straws from Costco with my mom's hummus. Yeah. I love hummus. Actually, I do like hummus. Veggie straws, I can't say that I've really tried. So you know what? I'll give them a try.
Get fresh tomatoes.
All right.
Sounds delicious. We feel offering some great recommendations here.
Okay, next time we won't have a drink. We'll eat chips the entire time on the live stream.
King's Pork Cal, a professional cook here. Get fresh tomatoes and slice some onions, marinate them, salt and pepper, vinegar, good snack. See, King's Pork Cal, that's why you're my Johnson City, Kingsport, Tennessee connection, man. That is a great idea. Oh, I'm going to try that. I love that. Should have had one before. Should have. All right.
Yeah, I hit show. There we go. From Douglas Dubois. What's the most daring activity you've ever done besides eating an entire bag of salt in Vinny's? It's a big one. It's a big one. Ken, does anything jump to your mind? Where does your mind go to? Physically daring, emotionally daring? Where does your mind go?
All of them count. I'm trying to separate it because I think the physical stuff isn't necessarily the answer. There's some job things that pop out, and I've told some story before. There was one particular night, there was a guy who probably had unfortunately had some mental health issues, and he believed he was being followed, and my officers tried to make contact with him, and he was a little bit aggressive and violent. So we backed off. We're waiting for LAPD to show up, but I was out there in plain clothes with a radio, and he saw me. Wasn't trying to hide. I was just kind of trying to get an angle on him. And in his mind, he thought, well, see, I told you someone's following me. There's that guy. He's following me. And he turned to confront me, and he had a knife and a chain wrapped around his wrist. I had my radio. So it was a Saturday, or no, Thursday afternoon or something like that. So, anyways, I stood my ground with them and used some that kind of language to distract. We got into a little bit of a tussle right as my officers got there, and they were able to take them to custody and all that kind of stuff. So there's that kind of stuff. But really, honestly, the bravest thing I did was to move to LA and leave my home and my hometown. And I cried all the way down. I was a quiet, shy kid to chase my dreams. That in my own life is the thing that I didn't think I actually was going to pull off. That I never thought I was going to leave. I was going to move out of my house and this and that, but like it just seemed like a far away thing, 2.5 hours south on the 101 freeway. But I was a scared, skittish kid. And to do it, and then to actually go to the groundlings in the first day, walk in the corner on Melrose to go into the building to take my first classes there, I was shaking and just remember thinking, "You're good. Go with God. You're here. This is why you're here, and to do it." And that has led to the next 25 years of better or worse. For me, I just didn't think I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that those big life choices are the most daring. We've got a couple of great comments. Jennifer and I will answer the questions as well, but I just want to share some of these people chiming in. I thought I shared something from Natalie. Is it showing?
Not quite yet.
No.
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I think the most daring thing I've done is move from Australia to London. That's a big move.
That's a big move.
And
you're making my 2.5 hours on a freeway.
I know. It's one of the OtherCenter episodes I haven't even told the two of you I'd like to do is like interview you both about growing up on the West Coast. Because for me, it's like I 100% can emotionally understand, and I am not teasing or making fun of you because I know it was emotionally far away. But for me in Minnesota, where like LA was like moved to the moon, like I guess maybe rich people can go there. I'm so fascinated with the difference of growing up out here. Aaron Barjan says, putting my work up for sale for sure. Definitely not physical, but emotional for sure. And the fact that people I don't know have actually bought and read it, mind blowing. Jennifer, where do you go with the most daring thing?
These are all so noble. I mean, they're really thoughtful answers. I guess I could say, deciding to have a baby.
Big one.
No, but immediately I was like thinking skydiving. No, I haven't done that. So when I was very young, a teenager, the Jerry Garcia band came to town, and I was friends with some deadheads. Again, I do not do drugs. I did not do drugs. Maybe they did. The point is that they all had tickets.
Either way, Jen, it's okay.
We really believe you.
Yeah, right. They all had tickets and I did not. And they're like, well, you can just sneak in because this was Irvine Meadows and there was this big, giant grassy space. There was a big fence, grassy space, and then the concert venue. They're like, just hop the fence and you'll make it no problem. I was like, all right. So there was a line of security guards and 13-year-old me was like, I'm going for it. And I literally ran and I jumped on. The problem was that there were the barbed wires, and I jumped on into the barbed wires, and I see out of the corner of the security guards coming. I'm like scrambling up. My hands are like bleeding, and they pulled me down, and I didn't let go. Why didn't I let go? Anyways, I did not make it into the concert.
What happened to you?
Yeah. Where did you make it somewhere else?
I hung out in the parking lot with some of my other friends and tried to use some socks to wrap around my hands. Not noble. It's just weird. It's just dumb teenage stuff.
I've been the Irvine Meadows Amphitheater, right? The Irvine Amphitheater. Yeah. Yes. I saw Kiss and Poe perform there in 1996. I know the venue well. Wow.
Yeah.
I do think there are things that we do when we're young and uninhibited that are like, yeah, we need to learn a lesson. Like there's a reason we don't grab that kind of wire unless you have plenty of socks to stop the bleeding. But I also think like that's what a lot of these comments are about. You get older and you get settled and stuck, and it's harder to take those leaps. And so I think there is some good to that youthful willingness to leap.
I'm dying to hear your answer here, Joseph, because I can't predict it. But Ronan brings up something I think I've even mentioned to you before, Jennifer. You have wonderful videos on your YouTube channel of you dancing in public, big LA Grand Central train station things. And as Ronan says, which to me, someone with social anxiety makes her basically a superhero. I don't disagree at all. That is your videos. Number one, they're great. They're funny. They're hilarious. They're great studies in the human condition of who actually reacts to you and who actually pays attention.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't dare do that.
Yeah, no, I have social anxiety as well. So I get it. But it's actually kind of more freeing, especially if you have your headphones in. And it's just that the love of that galaxy far, far away, because I think so many of us felt maybe embarrassed when we were younger or were made fun of and bullied for liking that. And it just was like, F you all, I'm going to go dance in a train station. So there you go.
Did you also have this sort of performer armor? Like, this isn't me doing it. I'm doing it for a purpose, for a reason. I'm on stage, even if the rest of the people walking through this train station don't know that.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you guys know that. It's like, I mean, my therapist was like, why did you want to be an actor if you have social anxiety? I'm like, because I separate myself when I'm in the moment. It totally goes away, and I'm the character. And so
no, absolutely.
There's a question I saw we can get to about stage fright, so I don't want to step on the answers, but there's something about controlling, for me at least, controlling the situation that I feel I often have no control over. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's kind of, and that's kind of my answer to this question. Like, there's definitely like moving to LA was massive. I had a really good life in Minneapolis, and then I felt like I really want to try this, and it was scary, and it was a massive reset. All those things. Like you both have talked about. But the thing that jumps to my mind is a story from my younger performing days, and I'll give a trigger warning that involves nudity. So there's a young in my performance career, this theater company that was like really artsy and edgy and cool, and still know people in them and think the world of them, asked my brother and I to be in this fake documentary they were making about arts funding called Beg, Borrow, or Steal. And like, okay, sure, we'll do it. And we just kind of like, I played this sort of weird, awkward intern who is actually, this cape was in it, who is actually like a spy, a weird spy. So they kept deciding like, we're going to do this last minute thing. We need you this day for this shot. And they were shooting lots of things of like desperate things that artists would do to raise money. So they called me. It's like, turns out we need you to do the nude bike-a-thon after all. We're going to go out on the Stone Arch Bridge, which is actually a bridge that James J. Hill built. It's over the St. Anthony Falls. It's a beautiful pedestrian bridge. It only recently been a pedestrian bridge. Like, we're gonna shoot it early in the morning, but like at like 7 a.m. before anybody's there. So just come and join us. We need you for this shoot. And it's like, okay, I have body shame. I'm terrified of this, but they're cool. I'm gonna do it. So I get there, and I had said when I talked to him, I was like, I don't really have a good bike for this. Can you? He's like, well, yeah, we got bikes. Don't worry about it. So I get there, and I like, we get there at 7 a.m., my brother and I, and they don't get there until like 9 a.m. So now there are like joggers and dog walkers on the bridge. And they arrive and they got the bikes, and I'm like, so where's my bike? I'm like, well, didn't we tell you? We thought it'd be funny if your character, since like the intern is like running to catch up with the bikes. And it's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, but I can't be the totally like uncool guy who says no. So they're like, okay. And I was worried about it. It's like, but you're going to have to like blur it or whatever. And like, I hadn't done anything really on camera. So they're like, don't worry. It's just going to be a blur. It's just going to be a blur. Just run real fast. So it's a blur. So long story short, they set up the cameras at one end of the bridge. They yell, go. The bikes take off, and I run as fast as humanly possible. I was wearing sunglasses and Converse, and that was about it. As fast as I could go. They get to the other end of the bridge, which is like 3/4 of a mile long. I ran for 3/4 of a mile, and they're like, okay, now let's turn around and shoot it. So they hadn't actually filmed it the first time. They filmed it the second time on the way back.
Who are these people?
Ran as fast as I could.
Oh, God.
And then they like a week later, they played back the footage for me. And these bikes go whizzing by. You see nothing. And then there's a long pause. And I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
And then a dog runs by. And then there's another long pause. And then I very slowly run past.
Did they blur it?
Oh yeah, they teased me that they wouldn't, and then I went to the premiere of like, oh, I can't. Oh, they blurred it, and it was fine, and it was one of those just definitely take a risk moments.
That is daring.
That's yeah, that's see. Yeah, Mala agrees. I think I would have. I think I would have been the swell sport. I think I would have been like, now I'm getting in the car and going. I don't know if I could pull that off. Good for you. Good for you. And that sounds like a funny bit, though. I bet that played well on camera, right? I bet that crowd loved it, right?
Oh yeah, because it's so long. It's like, why is the shot still lingering?
Yeah,
I thought I was running so fast. I thought it was like the Flash going like nope.
Love that there. That is great. Good stuff. Great question. Got this super chat from Sam saying, great seeing the narrator in Portland, Joseph. Even though it's been a bit since Jennifer's been back, I still get excited hearing, and I'm Jennifer Landa again. Thanks for all you do, Sam. That is
thank you. Melissa, thanks too.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming to see the short film. It's so wonderful to know that ForceCenter and OtherCenter listeners were there.
That is that is great. So this question, I'm so curious. Jen, talking about West Coast bias that we might have over here, we might have very different answers than Joseph. Not that the sun doesn't come up out there in Minnesota, but Peter Benton has the heavy summertime traditions. That's I'm fascinated with the lifestyle change, Joseph. But anything come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the huge things that's different is because the winters are long and hard in Minnesota, and a lot of people take pride in defying it in doing wintertime activities. But imagine if the entire calendar year of activities in LA was compressed to 3 months. It's like a massive explosion of events and things that you do in the summer. There's the Aquatennial Parade, and there's Rib Fest, and there's the conventions and the Fringe Festivals in the summer. It's just like this massive explosion. So for a long time, it was doing all of those things, but in particular, a convention and Fringe Festival in LA, where it is closer to summer all the time. Not really. I think the Hollywood Bowl is the big one because that is a thing that's seasonal. A Hollywood Bowl show is a really great. It's summer if everybody's going to the Hollywood Bowl.
That's a great answer. I hadn't thought about that. That's a very adult, mature answer too. I love that one. Going back to childhood, not really. The normal summertime stuff. If we took our trip to Yosemite pretty much every summer, that was a family vacation thing for a while. But yeah, I growing up in Central Coast, Pismo Beach, like it was just slightly warmer, than the rest of the year. So it didn't change much. But growing up here, weird to say, like I have not missed a year since 2013. That's crazy to think because I used to never go. But like San Diego Comic-Con, even when I think I'm not heading down, like the last 2 years, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not heading down. Oh, okay, we're gonna do a show. I'll head down. And that's one of the things I kind of, it's getting that time again, even though it could be stressful and has been tremendously stressful in the past with some work-related stuff. That for me has become a weird, like adult summer tradition. Like it's time to go down to San Diego and day drink. That's we can get Alex and Molly hammered at 2 p.m. That was my goal this year. So stuff like that. But other than that, this is why I was so curious because I'm so curious, Jen, with you. Like we don't have a lot of seasonal change out here. It's you slightly feel it. Maybe that will change as the the world changes, the climate changes. But like I didn't grow up with it was just the 3 months between school years. Boring, but sad even.
Yeah, now that you brought up the Comic-Con and you're jogging my memory because I was like, what have I been doing since kids? Has definitely changed, but before kids, oh man, LA really comes alive. They have a lot of events. We used to ride our bikes to like downtown LA. We would take the subway around town, like you said, Comic-Con. It really does feel like people are out and about more. So I really liked that. And we're trying to do that more with our kids where I was creating like a bucket list for my eldest daughter. I was like, okay, what do you want to do this summer? Because it does go by fast and we fill it with camps and all this stuff, seeing a movie together, like simple things, right? Going and getting ice cream and, making a tabby cat out of cloth, like things like that. So yeah.
I love that there. For a while, junior high era, I would go to the same like church camp every summer, which was I can give or take. But one of the things they did every year was have like a super size capture the flag game in the forest. And I think I was too into it. And like every year I would like, we'd get there and the church fans would be like, when we all need a huddle for strategy on capture the flag. Like I was like Patton. And I just was too into it. But every summer I look forward to the new capture the flag game with the church kids in the forest. So that's kind of a tradition for a while.
Fun.
All right. Moving along. This is great. We appreciate it. We also really appreciate you guys supporting OtherCenter overall. But today we understand that, there's a show that came out this week that everyone's excited to talk about where we really appreciate that these questions are about life. And it's been a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I just
sorry,
wanted to.
Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't.
fine.
I wasn't looking at the screen. I just looked at Hyde comment. Trey T, my buddy
Yes.
Trey T was a great question.
Is ice fishing really a big deal in Minnesota? Yes, it really is. So it's a whole thing.
Really?
Oh yeah. You get your little hut and you cut a hole and you sit there with your buddies and oftentimes with a can of beverage, and it's a whole thing.
That's fun. Okay.
Were you ever scared? Like, did you fall in?
I've never gone ice fishing. I have been on the ice a lot, and there are like very clear recommendations about when things are safe. I think we walked on the Mississippi River once, and that was a little scary because I couldn't imagine it. But after it's been weeks of just like brutal cold, and you can frankly feel like your nose hairs freeze when you walk outside, it gets into your soul that like, I bet it's okay. I can't imagine anything not being frozen, so I bet this is okay.
Right.
No. That's fast. Yeah. That's one of those things that to me, if I actually saw it, I wouldn't think it's real because I've just seen it in movies or read about it in the lore.
Yeah.
Me too.
All right. Was that your quote? You get a bonus one, Joseph. That was a simple one for you.
Okay. All right. Do we have a couple of kind super chats that aren't really questions, but just are nice. So I wanted to share one of those. Will Culbertson. Will always brings in great questions on our Q's episodes. Will says, just stopping by briefly to support OtherCenter in this wonderful community you have created. Happy Friday and have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, Will. Very much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wonderful. Appreciate that, Will.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. You want me to grab another one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Here. Well. Yeah. We talked about talking about it, so let's talk about it. This comes from 8984M. Question of the other variety: how do you deal with stage fright? And if you don't, how do you get over it? This is great. I think I'll jump on it first. I think I still I don't have like stage fright. I think I have self-imposed. I really need and want this to go well, because I kind of got to a point in my career of like the stage fright will go away the second I get in front of talking to people, and I can't wait to talk to all those people. And in fact, I feel empowered, and I am not frightened by the audience except for very specific circumstances. But some of the sort of symptoms of stage fright didn't go away, and I realized it's because I get anxiety about, I worked really hard on this, or I only get to do this once, or this person I really care about is in the audience, and how strongly I need and want it to go well. It isn't the I'm afraid to talk in front of people. I love talking in front of people. It's the need for it to go well. So without getting into any specifics of the other galaxy, I think, a lot of the stuff we talk about of take a deep breath, breathe, put things in perspective, that helps a lot. And the thing that helps me the most is just because what I remember whenever I step out is the fun. And if I'm feeling those moments of anxiety, like right before, not a half hour before, like 2 minutes before, I'm just like, remember, in 2 minutes, you're going to step into a different world being on stage, and it's going to be so much fun, and all of this will evaporate. That's what goes on for me.
Yeah, knowing that it's going to evaporate is pretty powerful. And that's not everyone can access that if this isn't what you want to do, public speaking being so hard. Yeah. Jen, any you answered a great answer about dancing in a train station.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is to recognize that you are nervous, but you're also excited. And it can kind of feel like the same thing, that fluttering in the stomach or your hands getting clammy, right? You're like, oh, it's like you're going to go on a roller coaster. It's going to be so much fun, right? So if you're trying to say, I'm not nervous, it's going to be bad. You have to say, okay, I'm nervous, but I'm also excited. Like you're saying, Joseph, taking a deep breath so that your voice isn't so high and so tense, right? Let it settle down here. And then just depending on if you're performing with another person, trusting that the other person is there for you, right? Letting it go, being sure that you're listening to that other person, not being like, okay, what's my line? No, be in the moment, right? And then I guess if you're by yourself, doing it, just being like, it's gonna be all right. I mean, just if you make a mistake, just laugh it off or just own it and be like, oh, well, okay, let me get back on track here. If you start to panic, that's when you can really get lost and flustered, and then everyone feels bad, and it's just really just everyone gets it. Everyone wants you to do well, and that's the most important thing to remember.
The biggest thing is for the most part, nobody knows you made a mistake usually, and that's the biggest thing, is to just not tell. Like every once sometimes even my wife can't tell, and then I'll be like, I'm great, because that's a ritual when I finish a show, particularly like a one-person show or a stand-up show, of like, I dropped this line, could you tell? She's like, no. And then sometimes she'll be like, I could tell, but absolutely no one else could tell.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, and just in terms of performing, sorry, Jen, unless you have more.
No, that's it.
Yeah, it always comes down to if I feel I belong in that certain whatever the performance medium is, and I know we're just talking about performing here. Stage fright can exist in a lot of different areas, including, I remember at my old job, I'd have to every year at the pre-holiday meeting, I had to address all the store managers and owners, and that was actually kind of nerve-wracking, because it's didn't want to be there. It was a day job. I didn't. So yeah, no, all the things. If I'm always nervous. I'm always like, it's always an excitement, but I also switch into not a character that's fake me, but just like Joseph, you're kind of describing it. Like, I'm not really me. I'm this performing person right now. And so it's fun. Some of the bigger Schmodown events in front of 300 people, it's kind of fun. And you'd feed off any kind of nervous energy or excitement. It's where I don't feel I belong. So I've had in my pro wrestling days, that was always a lot of fun, but there was a couple times early on in my pro wrestling manager career that I messed up. I messed up a spot in a match, and in a pretty bad way. And long story short, one of the guys in the match, a guy named Adam Pierce, was a little grumpy. And he hit me in the head with a chair, cut open my head, gave me a concussion, and did it on purpose to teach me a lesson. And I was nervous for a long time after. It was not a good way it was in my head a lot.
Wow,
absolutely.
That's horrible.
Really, yeah. Well, I went to my friend who owned the company. He goes, yeah, well, welcome to pro wrestling. And I was like, this isn't good. And blood's coming out of my head. But I didn't mess up again. So I was real nervous, because I didn't feel like I belonged after that. Right. And I think that's where a lot of fright comes from. So in stand up, there's times where I don't feel like I belong. I'm in the green room. The battle starts in the green room, where I feel like I'm going to be found out, that imposter syndrome. Someone here is going to be like, you're not a comic. Get out of here. And that's where I struggle with it. And it's sometimes, I always say, if I'm on a stand-up stage, I know the set goes well if my energy goes out, but if it goes in too much, and like you're saying, Joseph, maybe only I know that, or people who know me real close might know it, then the stage fright kind of wins a little bit. And that's the battle for me even now, where do I feel like I belong here?
I think it's a mindset of, obviously the performer will get something very positive out of it if the performance goes well. It's fun, and if it's laugh based or you're acting and you get to be angry and it's cathartic, obviously it's going to feel good as a performer. But I think another way past stage fright is like, I'm not just doing this for me. This isn't about me. I'm like, I got a job to do for the people in front of me. And I think again, that's where my stage fright comes down, is like, I don't want to let people down, of like, I'm here for other people, even though it's a reciprocal relationship and I get something out of it by getting laughs for sure, but wanting to be there for other people. I've only been badly wounded by a child on stage, so I hope it wasn't a child who hit you over the head.
No, it was Will McLean say, "Wow, that Adam Pearce, yes, about 6'4", 250, of angry energy." My friend Dan Farron I was looking at Dan because I knew it was happening. It was right after the match. I was looking at Dan. I was in character yelling, and I could see Dan's eyes. And Dan said, in 30 years of pro wrestling, the worst chair shot he's ever seen, and it was right to the back of my head with the wrong side of the chair.
Oh my god!
The right side and wrong side to do it, and he grabbed the wrong side. Yeah. So Will, that Adam Pearce.
Yikes.
Yep.
But anyways, that's only happened once in ForceCenter. Joseph has only hit me in the head of the chair once in ForceCenter. I never did it again.
Yeah. Ken has given me a massive leg wound multiple times, just like that child did. He's put me in crutches.
Super chat from Annie Sanders with that. Look at that kitty cat in that photo.
Oh,
No question, but want to say just some support. Love the podcast. Be it Force or Other with a heart. Oh, we really appreciate that there. Love that there. The Big Lou's got a great question I want to get to, but you know what? This could end up being a life rank, so we can just preview it here.
oh.
Big Lou's Club. Very begs the question for you. The first concert and best concert. So that's good. We might later on do like our favorite concerts, and we can expand on it here. Maybe. But Jen, you didn't get into that Deadhead concert, but did you get into others? We know you did.
Yeah, I know. I already talked about that kind of before. That was probably one of my best. The Grateful Dead in Las Vegas. That was amazing. I also used to go to a lot of punk shows when I was younger, and those would get really crazy.
Why do you never stop surprising everyone? We're the problem then. If we just think one way of you.
I know, right?
Also on my list to do an episode of OtherCenter about rebellious phases, which I think is going to be all Jennifer.
No. But yeah, I mean, those concerts are a lot of fun, much more intimate. Propaganda was a good one that I went and saw.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, remember them? Yeah, that was a scary one. There was a lot of Nazis there, and it was very terrifying. But anyways, yeah, probably the Grateful Dead.
And that's your best. What was your first? Do you remember your first concert?
I think it probably was like the Jerry. I don't even know. Oh, did I go to Debbie Gibson? I don't even remember. I'll have to go back. And think about that. I feel like I went to Tiffany or one of those.
Pretty rowdy mosh pit there.
Yes, the children were wild.
We're alone now. Everybody mosh.
Yeah. Or Kids Incorporated. Maybe that was it.
Yeah. I learned from our friend Matty Gunner. He sent me some lyrics for one of his songs he wrote, and he had to include a mosh break in the song. It's something I just had never really known.
Yeah, Maddie's loving this topic.
Oh.
So for a first concert I've ever attended was Debbie Boone. I had my life. Daughter of Pat Boone. My mom went to that at the Paso Robles Mid-State Fair in my hometown. The next night, we saw the guy, rest in peace, I know he passed away, the guy who played Carmine from Laverne and Shirley put on a music show.
Gosh.
And I just remember thinking, that was my first celebrity. Like, that's Carmine from Laverne and Shirley. The best concert, hands down, so far in my life is Lady Gaga. It's Joseph and I have talked about it on the show, and Joseph might even be your answer. It was a transformative experience.
Yeah. My first concert, I believe, was David Byrne solo without the rest of the Talking Heads. I just didn't get it. My parents did. I had to beg and guilt to get my parents to take me places, and they didn't have a lot of money, but they didn't do those rites of passage things like the kid's 13, 14, time for his first concert. That didn't happen. So I was like 19, and some other friends were like, "We're going to David Byrne's." Like, cool. How do concerts work? Do we sit? Do we stand? Like, we don't know. But it was in a more of a theater venue, like but everybody, it was in there, and everybody had their nice theater seating, but everybody stood up and danced. And David Byrne is so famous for his like very weird. It works for him, but it wouldn't work for any other human kind of unique dancing, which is so beautiful. And everyone in the place embraced. They like it looked probably like an extra cartoon version of the Peanuts dance, where like all those kids are doing their own thing, but it works for them. Like, that's one of my main things I remember about it. I was just like, what if my arms went like this? Like, who cares? Because everybody was just doing weird crap standing up in their theater seats, so that's great. It's a good one.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think I haven't gone to a ton of concerts because it didn't get ingrained early. I think it would be a toss up between that Gaga one that we saw and the Guns N' Roses one. I've seen them 3 times. I saw them once when Axl was the only original member of the lineup, and I saw him at Dodger Stadium, and I saw again at the Forum. And the Forum would have been amazing if somebody who was not impaired with drugs hadn't been insisting on standing in front of a large section of the stage for a long time. But
wait, was it Jen? Was it Jen? Oh wait,
what?
Jen has brought this up several times. She doesn't do drugs.
Drug free, the way to be.
Grateful Dead itself is not a drug. I mean, Grateful Dead can make you grab barbed wire, but it's not a drug.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
But so yeah, I guess all the best concerts at Dodger Stadium, because the Guns N' Roses one at Dodger Stadium was great because it was just such a sense of community. It was early on in their reunion tour, and there was just so much great energy and positivity, and it's amazing. But that Gaga concert was just so well. It was an art piece. It had a narrative. It was emotional. The maybe a lot of people do this, but the thing of everybody got the bracelets that when you came in, and with the music, they lit up with different colors at different times.
Wow.
So it so invited you to feel like you were a part of making the magic. That was one of the things about that concert that was just like, I feel totally a part of this.
Yeah. I think that the Eras tour, I've had several good friends of mine and who've been to the Taylor Swift Eras tour in the last month, and they have been transformed by themselves and described every detail. And that's theirs. Well, yeah, the Gaga thing. I know you and I talked about it, but having it be at Dodger Stadium, a place I've been to so many times, and I love my sports and I love my baseball, but to be at that same location, and that helped me feel the energy difference of not a bunch of hyper aggressive kind of energy at a baseball game versus the absolute love and community that was at that show. It really, from the moment of waiting in line to get in, I was like, this is different. I can feel it. It's vibrating with energy.
Gaga was by far this huge amount of diversity of age and diversity in every way. Part of what made that Guns N' Roses concert at Dodger Stadium really great is it was far more diverse than I expected in lots of different ways too. And they were a band that invited anger. That's part of their power in the 80s, like we talked about. And the first time I saw them with just Axl, there were a lot of people that that Guns N' Roses is probably the only thing I have in common. So I wasn't sure what to expect at Dodgers. Are like, there were families. It felt like a big neighborhood LA picnic, and Guns N' Roses was playing, and it was not what I expected, and it was awesome.
Oh, I love that. This is a great comment here, Jen. Now we have a running joke that's hilarious. Maddie Gunner says, "Wait, are you part of the straight edge punk scene, or just?"
Oh my gosh, you guys!
I want to see Jen with like a mohawk and X's like tattooed on her hands. This is amazing.
Yeah, I did have the X's. This is true. They weren't tattooed on, but I was kind of more of part of the straight edge scene. Yes, definitely.
I love that. But by the way, this is the only drug I do. Trulies and whiskey and rum. So
right, yeah, exactly. Now I do enjoy a cocktail every now and then, or some wine.
There's an amazing variety of music being shared here for First Concerts. Huey Lewis, Paul McCartney, Debbie Gibson.
Yes, In Sync. Yes, I went to that one too.
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Bad Religion, The Cure at Hyde Park. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Natalie saw Silverchair, probably in Australia. Was Natalie Imbruglia around? Oh, God.
Yeah, Snow Patrol at the Ulster Hall in 2003.
Styx. REO Speedwagon.
Styx.
Oh, Styx. Is that Laserbolt Videos? Was he Styx? I'm going to guess. No.
Yeah. This is an eclectic group. I love it.
I love it.
Mr. Roboto.
which is why I love
Mr. Roboto.
Absolutely love talking about music because it is. So it's Obi-Wan Jacoby, Don Felder from Eagles, Styx, and REO Speedwagon.
Backstreet Boys.
All right.
BSB. Yes.
Rona
Jimmy Buffett.
Oh
Parrot
my
heads.
gosh.
Oh, Harrison, put that one up.
Snoop Dogg.
Jimmy Buffett. My parents were and still are parrot heads. LOL. Best Snoop Dogg. It's like exactly like you imagine it would be. I'm surprised Jimmy Buffett and Snoop Dogg haven't done a collab.
Yeah, but at the Margaritaville in Las Vegas, they just need to do a little bar show there.
Yeah. Oh, and Will Dixon says first show was GNR in Memphis the week before the St. Louis show of infamy.
Oh,
wow, that's
this.
it was one of the things that's very much cemented there. Like they're not posing. There was a riot. I think Axel jumped into the crowd, and I think the inciting incident was him jumping in the crowd to address a photographer that the security wasn't addressing, and there was a riot, and they. I shouldn't talk off the cuff. I don't have my I haven't looked this up in a while. I don't have my details straight, but I believe they had to go back and were like arraigned and all that.
Oh wow.
I do remember that now. I remember Kurt Loder breaking in on the MTV. We go live now to Tabitha Soren on the scene. Serena Ultra has some updates.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You guys have great musical taste. Look at all this.
Yeah.
Duran,
amazing.
Def Leppard, Rod Stewart, Eagles. Wow.
Amazing.
John Williams, yes.
Jen, I'm checking with you. How are you doing on time? You're
good. I'll probably have to leave around 3:30.
Got it. Okay.
Well, we should get some good Jen questions in there. Do we have any more questions about drugs?
No, my gosh, guys. The algorithm was going to feed
Jen.
me.
Do you see that Jared has a very specific Jen question here? Let me bring it up here. Jen, what's something your parents used to let you do, not do, that you now let your kids do or not do?
My parents were terrible about letting me stay up late at night. Like, I don't know why. I guess because they're night owls. I do not let my kids stay up late. But when I was a kid, I used to watch Nick at Night. And that was when I watched all the Patty Duke show. Like all those old shows. So it's all right. But it taught me terrible sleeping habits that I've had to change.
That's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And that's how you explain it to your kids, right?
Yes. Yeah, because I had a hard time in school because I was always so tired the next day.
Do you make an effort to this is a loaded question because my mother didn't do this. My mother made no effort to hide the fact that she was still having fun after we were made to go to bed. And I've always wondered that about other parents. Do you try to be quiet so the kids don't feel like Mom shut the door and then it's like, all right.
I mean, we do watch movies sometimes, but we are both so exhausted that, like, honestly, now, like, we fall asleep. That's why I watch shows notoriously in the morning, because otherwise I will fall asleep through any movie at night. It's bad.
No midnight release viewings for you on shows of a certain streaming style. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So no fun is had.
Fascinating. This is like a Scrimshaw sketch of just the door closes and suddenly the champagne flutes come out and
like when they send their kids off to camp. Woohoo!
In particular, it was when I was about 8 years old and I was starting to really know when shows were on and want to watch them. And I think it was like MASH was on at like 10 or whatever, and we had to go to bed at 9 or 10 or whatever it was. But the door would close to our room. And my mom had become obsessed with combining M&Ms and Reese's Pieces in a bowl. And like the door would close and then we'd hear rip, tinkle, 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 rip, tinkle, 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 tinkle. And we'd hear that candy dancing in the bowl and then the theme song to MASH. And it was just like my mom flipping us off like candy and Vietnam War humor and you're asleep. Like,
oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Not Vietnam War, Korean War.
Korean War. Please start a short film with this. And by the way, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven after and do this. I've never really. I love both independently, Reese's and M&Ms.
I think Reese's had made the big. They'd gotten their day in the sun with ET, and then I think became a thing. Yeah.
Greatest marketing things in the world. That's wonderful. Well, there you go. Jen, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Trying my best.
This is a question for the three of us that we should try to answer while Jen's here.
Yeah.
From our friend Anakin Crespin, real name Anakin. Thank you for the super chat, Anakin. Anakin says it's the three of you who are lost at sea. Who's getting eaten first? Just kidding, of course. Wouldn't want to make it awkward between you. Much love.
Look,
now, it's only awkward if it's one of us eating the other, but maybe we're eaten by a shark. And then one of us does probably have to go first. Or Barracuda.
Look, if it's a matter of the ForceCenter plane crashed into the ocean and we're on a little dinghy and it's a matter of our personal survival, I'm not saying I'm 6'3", 215 pounds, but I might be the one with the most ballast. So I'm going to sacrifice myself first. Bone up to you guys enjoy the meal. Grill me up nice.
What do you think, Jen? I have a thought of how we'd handle this. Do you have a thought?
Yeah, I think that you both would be so nice and everyone would really like negotiate. Well, who's going to provide the most nutrition? Like, it would be a very pleasant end.
Look, I'm the chicken nugget of friends. All right.
Yeah.
I'm the chicken McNugget of friends.
I would not surprisingly argue that we don't need to frame this choice this way. We can reframe the choice and we can each cut off. Let's start with toes. We can each cut off a part of ourselves and share.
See?
Sun-fried toast. This is great.
I like it.
Sun-fried toast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, final one here. Well, we have two for Jen. I'm going to toss up two for Jen. We'll get you on your way. 8984 Eb says, since having children made you understand anything your parents did more. Curious about this because my chihuahuas have taught me a lot, but probably not like humans, human babies. Jen, what's the latest in there?
I mean, you just understand, like, you appreciate all the sacrifices, all the driving to wherever they took you, the patience that they had, or lack of patience that you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand why you lost it on me. And how, when you're a kid, you really do think that you know everything. You don't. You don't. So yeah, and sometimes kids have to make their mistakes. You just have to kind of let them, but just be there for them when they come back to you.
That's great.
That's so great.
That's good stuff. Then on that note, was Jen one of the hardcore kids dancing in the pit?
Yeah, actually, at this one propaganda show, there were a group of Nazis, and my friend who was super smart, she was like 5'1", and she just started yelling at them, like, "You guys shouldn't be here," or whatever. And they all turned around, and I swear to you, I was like, "This is the moment I die," because then for whatever reason, I started yelling too. Well, again, but propaganda actually stepped in, and they stopped the yelling. But yeah, it was like five or six male Nazis. It's really terrifying. Yeah. And the worst part was, like, I was the only person of color of the group. So it was like, the spotlight was on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all I have gone toe to toe with almost every gang in the San Fernando Valley. I know them by name, by heart, I study them. Neo-Nazis, by far the worst. That's the only time I thought I actually was going to die. So props to you and your friends fighting at the propaganda show, Jen.
Props to propaganda.
Got one more question that I feel Jen should answer to put a button on the Nazis. This comes to us from Ronald Sykes. Thank you for the super chat. Very appreciated. He says, "Hi, guys. Thanks for doing this. Me and my wife love tropical vacations when we can afford. Where are your favorite places to vacay?" Ken and I talked about this on a recent episode, so I thought it would be great to get Jennifer's favorite vacation spots.
I really, we went to Italy last year with some family, and it was amazing. I will say that it was really, really beautiful. I love Hawaii, although I have complicated feelings, obviously, as a tourist going to Hawaii. But yeah, Italy, Spain, yeah. I feel like Cabo, like, there's just so many places around the world to go and visit and enjoy, and that's the fun of traveling, being immersed in the culture.
Absolutely. My answer on the episode we released yesterday was the Chili's in Northridge. So, Ronald, great question. Ronald, check out, if you haven't had a chance, check out our episode released yesterday. Joseph and I go in depth on some of those travel places there. And I'll say this about Ronald. Every time I put on sunglasses, I think I look as cool as Ronald in sunglasses. Look at him in that profile picture.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. The place I didn't mention on our episode is I would like to visit a place called Lake Chipotle, which is an inside joke. Inside, if you live in Minneapolis, there's a Chipotle, the one I used to go to, that has just a horribly constructed tiny parking lot that if there's any rain or snow, which is always, becomes a massive lake in the middle of it. And now it's become a thing. Like the Minnesota State Fair is running right now, and people have made crop art celebrating vacation at beautiful Lake Chipotle.
I have to look this up. I love Chipotle.
I want to go through there. I want to go through there.
All
right, Jen, we're gonna let you go. Ronan checks in. Before Jen goes, I want to say that the three of you are great, and I'm loving OtherCenter. That's it. That's Super Chat.
Oh, thank you,
Ronan.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that as well. Jen, thanks for hanging with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Life worked out this time to have it happen. So thank you. Thank you for revealing so much about your straight edge past.
I know. I left no mystery. TMI. Sorry, guys.
No,
but
there's more.
Chatting. It was
I know there's more there.
What I love, it's a quick societal commentary that anyone would accidentally or on purpose look at you and just go, "Oh, it's a nice mother raising kids talking Star Wars." And you're like, "Oh yeah, I fought Nazis of propaganda." Like, time out. I live. I'm a human. I love it.
Here are my dead scars from my fence grab.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we have to do like a memory wipe of this whole chat. Keep it between our ForceCenter friends, okay, guys?
Okay.
Keep it between us.
All right.
Okay. Thank you all so much. It was great chatting with you.
Bye,
It
Jen.
was fun. Bye.
Oh, my Lord.
You'll see Jen on the show come Monday. We'll releasing it Tuesday. We got a good topic on the way here. This has been a lot of fun. I feel we've learned a lot. I'm sorry. Jen Landa's a bleeping war here.
Amen.
This is great.
Amen.
Anyways, we're here for a little more, a little bit more here on a Friday afternoon for us. So checking in. How's the drink, Joseph? Do you need to change your rocket? What was your Rocket Queen?
Rocket Queen, which is I didn't think it was a deep cut, but it is.
It's probably not. It's not a Guns N' Roses deep cut. I've told you. I just like.
You're just not. Yeah.
Welcome to the jungle. Got it. November Rain because Ricky Rackman was in the video. Like, you know.
I don't know who that is. That's great. What happens in OtherCenter stays on the internet forever, says Addie. Love it.
Love that. Matthew, thanks for hanging out. Midnight here, heading off to bed. Thanks again. We appreciate you all.
Thank you.
I know Matty Gunner, he doesn't go to sleep. I get WhatsApps from Matty Gunner updating on a project about 4 a.m. my time. Cool. Well, we got a lot of questions to get to here, Joseph. Anything jumping out to you?
Yeah, we've had this one from Greer for a little while. Greer Galloway says, any favorite British meals / snacks? Always curious to see how people perceive our fairly bland food. Been thoroughly enjoying OtherCenter. I would start by saying, like, I get the British food jokes, but maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm from the Midwest and Scandinavian in heritage that has some aggressively bland food to prove that you can take it. Some of the holiday fish like lutefisk is like it literally tastes like nothing but the chemicals it's preserved in. So maybe I'm biased, but British pub food is amazing. The flavorless thing, the no cuisine jokes. Maybe there's something I don't understand, not actually being from the culture, but I've always enjoyed the fish and chips and a Sunday roast and like big weird burgers of like I think one of my favorite things I had in a bar on like a self dare was the Big Ben burger, which was like a double patty and British bacon, which is a huge actual chunk of meat, and Cumberland sausage and a fried egg and various aggressive sauces. And it was great. I love the Big Ben burger. My heart hurt, but I loved it.
Yeah. I'm with you. Like grown up with the jokes about British cuisine, right? And some of it from Python or stuff like that. Like I get it. And look, there were some weird things I saw in some of those convenience stores in that way of like, this is a ham and prawn sandwich. What is this? Like what is this? But one of these things I just saw, Johnny C. Books and Comics. Brits have some of the best snacks and candy. Yes, absolutely agree with that. and the flavors. And I remember, I think Sarah and I were talking about that like black razzmatazz flavor or whatever. There was some black currant flavor. We're like, why isn't this in America? Like, why isn't this in America? So yeah, and I got, obviously get some of the history and some of the bad history of it, and why there's a lot of different food served there. But I thought our buddy Jamie Stangrim talked about that, and we had a bar conversation about like, yeah, there's a lot of things to work through about our past and maybe even some shame. But I also grew up with a lot of different cultures around me, for better or worse. But I think, he was talking about the better side of it and such amazing food. And that was part of my upbringing. And I thought it was a good way. We were having a good conversation in the bar about it. It makes sense, some of it on a micro level. So anyways, I love my time there. I love food. But this is, Joseph, this just leads up to the upper crust conversation. This is all this is about. Is the upper crust sandwiches.
Yeah, when I had been in the UK before, especially when I was traveling more and going, getting on trains to go from place to place, I know there are other places, but I would encounter them in train stations of the upper crust sandwiches. And I was like, I don't know if they'll still be there. And I was like, Ken, if we encounter this upper crust, you got to try it. And I think Sarah and I had some, and we're eating them in front of Ken.
Yes.
Ken, it was great because I know you're a food aficionado. I know you're a convenient food aficionado. And it was like the old cartoons where like the bulldog smells something and lifts up in the air and follows it. Like the way your eyes were like, what are those little sandwiches you eating? I was so delighted that Ken loved them as much as we did.
You had set it up. You know that I love a good gas station sandwich, food that can be eaten in a car, or in this case on the tube. And yet you had said it, and I definitely heard you. I definitely paid attention. I don't want to sound like I was dismissing you, but there was just so much going on. And I just had that kind of like, yeah, great. And then we were in your hotel room, probably I think getting ready to record because you and Sarah I think had come back from the floor or something like that. And you pull this out, and I just remember thinking, the bleep is that wonderful thing. Is this? And you're like, oh, this is the upper crust sandwich I was telling you about. And you're like, you sold me on it. It's simple. It's what it says on the description in bread that you can hold and eat on a tube or on the go. And I was like, I have to have one. And it's probably a chain. It's probably looked down upon food. And my local Matty Gunner probably hates it. But like, we finally went over there, and I never, every time we ate from then on, other than the Thai food we had at a nice restaurant with Alex and Molly, like I was an upper crust sandwich. Like it was the best experience.
And Rona says, I live in London, never had upper crust. I always see it around. I must try it. And maybe it won't be as amazing. I think there are a couple elements to it. I think, so Ken and I were joking about this in the stand-up show, and it was fun because we kind of had a mutual building joke where Ken had the very funny phrase of like, they're actual mouth size. They fit in your mouth. And I joke that our sandwiches in America are ego sized. Like anybody who's seen a commercial know this of like, can you handle the pound you burger? Like it's piled a mile high. And like, it's all about, bigger, better. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about British food in general is like, I know there are places that you can go where you get a mountain of food, but in general, just your average restaurant has a reasonable amount of food where everything in America is about more. And it's so wasteful and you feel gross because you're trying to eat it all. And upper crust is in that category where it is American upper crust would be like stuffed with like a ridiculous amount of cheap lettuce that you don't need. And it would have a bullshit bacon ranch chipotle wasabi sauce to try to flash it up. And upper crust are minimal forms of elegant art with 2 to 3 ingredients that actually taste good together. And it's easy to hold, it's easy to eat, and you're satisfied when you're done. It's phenomenal. I got 2 on the way out. Speaking of being like my last stop, I took photos. I don't think I ever sent them to you. I took photos for Ken. Like I got a salmon one and like just a bacon and cheese one, nothing else. Bacon and cheese and like light mayo. That's it. That's all you need.
That's it. God. Yeah, I'll go to one of the chain spots here in LA, and I they're fine. I love them. I really do love sandwiches, clearly. And it's like they can't even fold them, and it's too much. It's too America. Upper crust in the Excel Center, and Rona said, "Oh, there's an upper crust in the Excel Center. That's the one. You go there, Rona. You tell them, this is a famous location."
I think we left out of Paddington, or maybe it was King's Cross. That one had in upper crust, Ken. This was the holy grail. They had so many sandwich options. That's why I got two. It's like I must try. I must try them.
Oh God, can't wait to get back. And I saw someone post in chat about Japan. Convenience foods. Like I know 7-Elevens over there are like 5-star restaurants. I've heard the tales. Trust me. And my friends Matt and Brittany go to Tokyo a lot. They come back and they're like, we can't wait till you go to 7-Eleven in Tokyo. We're trying to get there for next Star Wars Celebration. Was that 2024, 24, 5? Definitely trying. It's going to be complicated, but I cannot wait. And yes, I'm going to blab about it as much as I do this. Yeah, our buddy Ken Plume says Sandwich Center. We could do it. Sandwich Center.
Last British food thing, I'll let this go, is the Jelly Baby snacks, which I'm a big fan of, from Doctor Who. Won't belabor that because everything going on. And I couldn't wait to try them. And somebody brought some back once, and they were hard, and they tasted like fruit that had gone bad somehow. And I was like, wow, Jelly Babies are awful. Why doesn't the doctor regenerate every time they eat one? I finally on this trip had actual fresh Jelly Babies, and they were delicious candies when you buy them fresh from the Tesco Express.
Oh, I love that Tesco that was next to oh God. The problem is I'm going to eventually definitely get back to London and other parts of England, but I'm going to just go to the Excel Center again. People are going to be like, what are you here for? There's not even a convention. I'll be like, oh, I just like this area.
King's Cross. Maddie is correct. It was King's Cross we left out of. King's Cross has the large one downstairs. Don't ask how I know that. That's the one. That is the Mecca of upper crust.
Love that. Great stuff here. I'll answer a quick one here. When are you both doing a stand-up show in Boston? I don't know. I'd love to get to Boston. It's one of the American cities I have not experienced yet. Mark Ellis and I have talked about Boston, but it's probably not going to happen this year. I gotta say, it's so much fun in London at the Harrison Pub in King's Cross doing a show with Joseph. I'd love to figure out a way to do that again too for us on the other ForceCenter side.
It was on a list of, we talked about it briefly. It was a list of things that show went really well. We did that survey of listeners to find out where everybody lives and where's their critical mass that we could do a show. And then, the strikes and the short film and lots of other stuff intervened. But I think that's still something we'd like to do down the road. Is do some live shows in places where we have confidence that there's enough fans that we can have a good show.
Yeah, it was great. The Q&A and I'm close to announcing officially with the help of Matty Gunner and his producer friend Matt. I'm going to be releasing the Harrison Pub show on just my set because I don't want to presume that Joseph wants me to release his comedy. But I'm going to release that soon as a little comedy EP for people to get a hold of. So
nice.
It was a great experience there. So we'll try to do it again. Try to get to Boston.
I did one show in Boston many years ago when I was doing a little mini tour with my music duo friends, the Double Clicks. But I saw almost nothing of Boston. That was in and out. So I would love to do another show in Boston.
Yeah, I'd just love to get there because I am such a history nerd that's a place for it. So. There you go. All right. That was a quick one. Oh, sorry. I'm just jumping to some quick ones, Joseph.
Yeah, go for it.
Because we had the question. Jared has asked a bunch of wonderful questions. Is a hot dog a sandwich? No. There's some great. Our friend and listener Jonas Berggren from Sweden, who was out there in Anaheim. He was obsessed. I think it was his first, maybe second time to America, but I think his first. So the Anaheim celebration, and he was obsessed the fact that we call hamburgers burgers, but we call the chicken version a chicken sandwich. He's like, that's not cute. It's the same thing, just the meat's different. Why is that a chicken sandwich and why is it not a meat sandwich? And just the way it is. A hot dog is a hot dog. It is begun at the ballpark, I think roughly about 1901. Someone can check my facts. A vendor ordered on a hot day. Ice cream wasn't selling. He ordered German like sausages, frags, and so people could hold them. He put them in bread, and that's kind of where it sprung out from. That's not a sandwich. That's a convenient meat, and that's where I go with it.
Yeah, no, it is a different beast. The is a hot dog a sandwich is a great question, along with is Die Hard a Christmas movie. But at this point, I feel like I will only answer in a combination of a hot dog is a Christmas movie. Yes, it is.
Yippee-ki-yay. Next question. All right. Anything jump out to you, sir?
But then you can make a chicken burger if you grind it.
These are not wrong. These are not.
I think it's about the bread. We joked about not doing this, but I do think it is I think some of the terminology is about what is it if it's served on a hamburger bun, it's a burger. But like a lot of time when you get a chicken sandwich, it's on like toasted bread. Not always.
No. Yeah.
And then a hot dog has its own bun and its own bun related issues.
Ken Bloom says hot dog is a wrap, and I don't disagree with that classification. I think hot dog is its own subgenre, but you're not wrong about that. It is
cereal soup.
That's kind of it, right? It's a cold soup.
It is. I mean, a lot of it's a very chunky soup. It's a chunky soup.
Oh god, and then why isn't Sloppy Joe a burger? Just but I think of Sloppy Joes, which I love. You could make vegan versions of them, by the way.
Yeah, they're great.
I consider, well, it's kind of its own category, but I think Sloppy Joes are cousins of hamburgers.
I think Sloppy Joes are a mystery because nobody ever says, "Would you like a Sloppy Joe burger or a Sloppy Joe sandwich?" Maybe they do because there's like the manwich thing.
Manwich,
which is a whole other conversation. Time for
whole other thing.
But yeah, American food terminology, slippery slope at best.
Yeah, slippery slope indeed. There you go. You guys are. We got our buddy Adam Knight. I do love me a Raisin Bran stock and a high protein. Hilarious.
Yep, with just a little accent of marshmallow, cream of marshmallow. That's what my breakfast cereal is. Cream of marshmallow. All right. A lack of response had a jokey question, but also has a very kind super chat. So, what songs do you sing along with when they play in the grocery store? Ken, I can't imagine you full on sing, but do you hum or murmur?
A hum, a tap, a dance to almost anything because they're great. And I may have told the story before, but there was one time. This was a few years ago, a prior relationship, but every night, me and my then girlfriend and her dad, who was a cancer survivor, would go to the Whole Foods on 3rd and Fairfax, across from the farmers market where we actually worked and met. Longer story, but he liked food fresh that night. It was just part of his battle. It was ongoing. So every night, 9 o'clock, we'd go to the Whole Foods, and I'd get some food. And one night, the song Mickey, hey Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind.
Hey Mickey.
Tony Basil, right?
Yep.
We're in line, and I'm doing that. It's Wayne's World and everything. In front of me was Tony Basil. Swear to any god you believe in, and I'm just like, and to my girlfriend Christina, like, hey Mickey, your son. I look, and she looks at me, and she just gives me the smile. She's just like, yep. And I couldn't say anything. I just couldn't say anything. I just like, that's never gonna happen again. Never gonna happen again. Amazing. So I'll tap and sing and dance to a song.
Yeah, no, I will murmur along. I was just in a store that was a record store that was playing Paradise City, and it's like, this is kismet. That is absolutely great. Yeah. But any other songs? I think I sang along a little bit to poke fun at it. And I can't remember the song. But there was a sort of early 2000s. Ken, you're going to have to help me out with the terminology. The sort of like angry, it's got a rock beat, but it's got an element of hip hop to it. You know, that kind of music?
Yeah, the modern rock of the early 2000s that, had just emerged from burning down Woodstock.
Yeah, and I can't remember the song, which impairs the story. But it was a relatively well-known song that was like very like aggressive, and I'm gonna let you know my feelings, and I'm a man with a broken heart, and the world's not fair to me, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
and it was playing in a Sears while I was shopping for dress shoes.
New metal, yeah. Obi-Wan Jacoby, new metal, yeah.
New metal, yeah. And it just Limp Bizkit. Yes, I don't know if it was Limp Bizkit, Jed Islander, but it was that vibe. And it just cracked me up because, like, I know that's the fate of all music, no matter how like youthful and angry or revolutionary. Eventually, it will be played in a Sears for people to shop for dress shoes.
Yes.
But I pictured a Saturday Night Live sketch. Every once in a while, I was like, I wish I still did sketch shows because just like picturing like this band and like this, the guitar player's written this song. It's like, we got to do it, man. We got to do it. I need to get these feelings out because someday they'll play this at Sears, man. And people 20 years from now at Sears will know my pain, man. Just the utter contrast from like where angry young music starts to where it inevitably ends up just killed me.
That's amazing. It's like the Who eventually do sell out despite their album warning not to. Ben Folds 5 has Rock in the Suburbs, which was a bigger hit, but it's kind of a parody of that kind of stuff too. I absolutely love that's hilarious. Yeah, that's hilarious. Going back to our buddy Charlie Ashby from UK out there in the Imperial Senate podcast says, would you consider 2 pieces of butter bread together without filling other than the butter a sandwich? Yes, because one of my favorite things, and I keep pawning this off on people and no one believes me it's good, is a peanut butter and butter sandwich. My great uncle used to make this for me when I'd go up to Green Valley Lake and every Thanksgiving. It was a family tradition. And I'd be like, Uncle Fern, can you make me the peanut butter sandwich? And he would make it. And it's just peanut butter and butter. And it's a sandwich. And it's delightful. So remove the peanut butter, just some butter. Charlie, that's what I do with my Hawaiian rolls. I tell Grace I dip them into my soup. I just go into my room, play Fortnite, and I have butter in the middle of my Hawaiian rolls, and I just eat them.
I think the truth is, as long as you put at least one other ingredient between some sort of bread-like substrate, you got a sandwich. That's a toast sandwich, I would say. I mean, just butter sandwich is like maybe you dropped your toast, but it's still a sandwich.
It's the food version of Portlandia's put a bird on it.
Put it between bread. It's a sandwich. But then hot dogs. The eternal question lives on.
Yes. Anyways, I lost where we are because I'm just now thinking of food and fun and new metal, and you buying dress shoes to new metal is amazing to me. George Ramirez checking in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, he got this one from our buddy Ken Plume. He kindly put out a super chat. Hashtag Team OtherCenter. What's the live album that you wish you could have been in the audience for? Request would you have made to add to the set list? Ooh, yes.
Ken and I, when we play Fortnite, I know he loves good live music recordings and everything, and I'm not as huge fan of them, but like Oasis is a lot out there. I was in attendance for a show at Universal Amphitheater when Noel Gallagher did Help, and that actually got released 20 years later, and I was great because I kept telling people I heard, and I know he did it on other shows, but I heard one of the most heartbreaking renditions of Help from Noel Gallagher, acoustic guitar and a stool, Liam Beck probably bumping some coke in the green room while he took a break. And it just was a heartbreaking, heart-wrenching rendition of Help. And they released it 20 years later. And I just so glad to finally have heard that. So I was there for that one. Two, I would go to Kiss Unplugged and Fleetwood Mac, the reunion, which was actually, I could throw a football if I'm lucky and hit it at this venue nearby me, where Carson used to do and Leno used to do Tonight Show. That area. I would, as far as adding songs, I just love those recordings. I don't think I necessarily add them, but I wish I was there for those mid-90s.
Yeah. Two jump to mind. Three jump to mind. The Sinatra at the Sands that Jennifer talked about on our recent favorite bands. That's probably it. But I've talked about Sinatra a lot. So the Nirvana Unplugged would have been amazing. Want to be very respectful with this, not making fun of the condition, because it's one that people make fun of. But Nirvana had a song on one of their albums called Tourette's, not making fun of the condition. But the song is just this sort of wild, exploration of emotion. And that would have been amazing to hear unplugged. So that's what I would have requested from their album. One of my very favorite albums, and anybody curious about this artist, I would seriously suggest checking out this album. There's an album called a Sammy Davis Jr. album called Sounds of 66 with the drummer Buddy Rich. It's a Vegas album, but it's a Vegas album that's like, in my imagination, what the real Vegas was. Sammy Davis Jr. is doing a show that he's recording on purpose at I think something like 3 or 4 or 5 a.m. And it's like a super late show, and it's the one where all the other performers go like, who's got it? Whose show are we going to go to after all of our shows and partying are done? And it's just electric. It's just amazing. It's a performer performing to perform for other performers. It's for 66, when that era of Tin Pan Alley and popular American music was kind of dying. It's a mix of hits and more modern songs, old hits and more modern songs for 66 from him. If I had to request, I would ask him to do a cover of Fever, and then he could do some amazing tap dancing, because he's an amazing tap dancer.
I love that. That's great. Good stuff. We're not done talking music, maybe even on this show, but on OtherCenter. It's
Maddie says, I just recorded a cover of that song. I'm very excited to hear that.
Of course you did. Great stuff there. I think that was mine, right? Sorry. I'm looking here.
That was from Ken Plume. So yeah. Grab anything you see, Ken.
This one's been up for a while. Ben, hope you're still listening. Any advice for a convention first timer? I'll be at Dragon Con next week too. So I from time to time we get this question, and I think we have between us and even some in the audience listening a lot of experience. I have never been to Dragon Con. I get the feeling it's a different kind of prep, Joseph.
Imagine all of the energy and excitement and activity that's spread out at San Diego Comic-Con over a massive convention hall in 20 blocks, and shove it into about 5 blocks that are all connected by a skyway. It's so beautifully intense. Dragon Con in particular, for all conventions, you can't do everything. So don't get trapped by FOMO. Look at schedule. Make your picks and don't look back, because you'll have a good time no matter what. So you can't do everything. Dragon Con, I don't know if they're back up to their numbers post beginning or pre-beginning of the pandemic. It can take a while to get from point A to point B. You can look at a map and go like, I'm in this hotel, and the panel I want to go to is right across the block in this other hotel, and there's a skyway. How long could it possibly take to walk there and find that room? The rooms can be really hard to find and strange. You're doing a Legend of Zelda puzzle to find the rooms. So Dragon Con, give yourself plenty of time to get from point A to point B would be my biggest. And then also just Dragon Con is about the party. So if you're a person who likes to party, great. If you're not, just treat yourself to standing on a higher level above some of the more central hotel levels and watch all the costumes and the party go by. And that's really, really great people watching and costume watching.
Yeah, all that's valuable for conventions in general, especially for Dragon Con. We'll have Alex and Molly report back next week as they're Dragon Con veterans. We'll see if they can survive. For me, the time, the pacing, knowing that you're not going to get everything is hard. It's hard for me sometimes. I get that convention FOMO, not even just for panels and stuff, but Joseph's over there. I want to go drink with Joseph. But Ken Plume's having nachos over there. I want to go over there. You can't do it all. And if you just kind of, there to experience, soak up the vibes, soak up the panels, soak up the floor. Yeah. Schedule, but leave room and know that you're not going to get anywhere. And just that, that's especially San Diego or Star Wars celebrations. It's you think you're going to go there in 5 minutes, it's going to take 15. And just go from there.
And DragonCon doesn't have all the like exclusive merch. They have a merch thing that's also takes time to get into, but it's if Ben wants to do the autographs, that takes up time. But it's also like it is so much more of just a giant party and lots of fun convention or panels to go to and all that.
Yeah. Have fun. Have some fun. And I think that's one of the things you said, Joseph, is no matter what, you're going to have a good time. You'll have a good time. There you go. There you go. All right. Questions coming in here. Anything that jumps up to you here? We got, I don't know. What do you think? Half hour, 20 minutes more? I don't know. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, cool. I'm feeling good.
Cool.
Half hour. Let's cut ourselves off at a half an hour.
Half hour. I do have some Wandering Chihuahuas, but they're good. Wandering Chihuahuas sounds like a great band name too. Buddy.
I wanted to be at that concert. I'd time travel to the future to be at that. Our buddy Ken Bloom. Ken has brought me to DragonCon many years with a whole collection of great people and some just treasured memories. So I want to be sure to celebrate Ken's DragonCon advice. Ken says, best DragonCon advice: allow extra time to get places, hydrate often, wear comfortable shoes, and be wary of the crush of people if that affects you. It is a very congested con. That is really true. It isn't just time. It is like the psychological, I was joking about the skyways, but like there are some convenient skyways, but they are really like, can you be around that many people for long? Otherwise, it might be better to go outside into the blistering heat.
Up in the skyway. Oh wait, that's about Minneapolis. Great stuff. Yeah. One day, and one day it's on my list. Get to DragonCon. Definitely want to go.
Yeah.
I have the cards for a bit here.
No.
David talks about the Crusher celebration was a lot. There was also, I think the Excel Center did a pretty good job, but there was a dangerous level of crush at that con versus other cons in the past.
That straight line needs to be
has to be worked on. Only negative there. Okay. Oh, this one's for you, and I think it's important. Anakin says, Joseph, when will your film with Phil Lamar be available to buy on YouTube or something like that? What about the Nightmare Adorable featuring Ken? Hey, that's me.
Yeah. So I'm lucky to have 2 short films that I'm still putting out in the film festival circuit. So the wisdom and the truth is that if you want films to play at film festivals, the majority of film festivals don't want it to be available anywhere publicly. So the narrator, I still have about 15 festivals that I haven't heard back from, going through like early next year, like February or March of 2024. So I want to give it a chance to have as full of a festival run, play as many places as it possibly can. And then I don't think there'll be any money. I'll just eventually I will put that on YouTube. That one's called The Narrator. That's the one I won the one award for. And stars the wonderful Phil Lamar. And Ken did help me with that one in a fun way as well.
That's right.
And then the Nightmare Adorable one that I ran the Kickstarter for, it's a horror comedy that Ken is one of the characters. That one is just beginning its festival run. So that'll probably be, and I think the latest festival that I applied for is like middle of next year, like July 2024. So it'll probably be a while before it's available publicly. I really only started this film festival journey in the last year. So some of this is new to me, figuring out the timing of it, how much time it takes to decide which festivals to apply for. There's a great website called Film Freeway that the majority of festivals, not all of them, but the majority of festivals are on, up to like, big famous ones like Sundance, to just like Joe and Bob's Crab Weekend. And you'll be like, what is this? And is it legitimate? And like, especially being in LA, there's the Hollywood Shorts Festival. There's the Hollywood Shorts Fest. There's the Award Hollywood Shorts Fest. And like, you got to really, really sift through them all and go, which one's legitimate? Which one does my film have a chance of getting into? And in general, the prices aren't that expensive, but they add up quick. So thank you for asking, Anakin. I'm really in the middle. Like today, I spent all day figuring out which festivals do I still apply for. So it's a long process. And thanks for asking, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, it's completely unknown to me. I've never been in some films, including yours now, but Robert Butler III's film, been to festivals. It's all easy to me. I just show up when you tell me to show up to some red carpet event, and I wave and I go home. So watching you go through it, and the Wangers and all those guys go through it too as well. It's quite a thing. Quite a thing.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It is a lot.
Indeed. Quick one here from the Cali Kid. Do you ever attend the New Beverly Theater? I've only been there once. I saw Excalibur with my friend Owen Mugen, and ran into Adam Witt and Paul Preston there for the movie guys, if anyone knows who they are. And it's the only time I've been, and it was a great time. I was trying to get out there for Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I couldn't make it. But yeah, so closer to you.
It is a little bit closer, but parking is still a challenge there. For anybody who doesn't know, it's a little kind of old school theater, one screen, small lobby, raked seating, but still enough that if you get a tall person in front of you, you're done. But a little bit more of that great community spirit. It's owned by Quentin Tarantino. Everything is on film. Oftentimes it is they'll advertise this is Quentin's personal film copy of this old Martin and Lewis film, which is the first thing that I saw. There was it was like 2 weeks after I moved to Hollywood, and Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin's last film is Hollywood or Bust. So I went to see that. New Beverly haunts me because I mean to go there all the time, and I don't get there very often. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood there recently. A couple of years ago, I saw a double feature of The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker with some buddies. And the last time I was there, actually, I think was before the onset of the pandemic, and in fact, it was the kindness of Ken. I was like, "Hey Ken, can we move the recording date? Because I want to see a David Lynch film at New Beverly on Monday at 10 a.m." And it was packed, and it was great.
I love that. Yeah, I want to get back. Yeah, parking is horrendous. My friend Owen and I went. We had to like move someone's trash cans, and I thought we were going to get in a fight. It was the thing. But maybe I'll take a car out there next time. Good stuff. All right, a few more minutes here. We're going to about 4:30. So if you got some questions, super chats, all those kind of things, we are ready for them here. Anything jump out for you, sir?
Well, we have this super chat from Nightfall Productions, Adam Knight. And a very philosophical question. Should Charlie Brown have just admitted his unrequited love for Lucy was what kept him from coming back for more rejection with that damned football? Ooh, this is a therapy center question, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's big lessons about life. Sure. I never thought about in terms of the love angle there. Yeah, at some point, he's the problem for making her have to remove the football every time. I have lingering former nice guy syndrome where I want to coach a lot of nice guys to be actual nice guys, not the ones that they think they are. Yeah, where do you go?
I applaud Charlie Brown's optimism. But also as a former, I will say in my younger days, I became very interested in women who, in retrospect, were like, they like you as a friend, and that's fine. And I should have left it at that. But there was the maybe.
It's real. It's real pain.
Yep. And it wasn't it wasn't their fault that they pulled the football away. It was me not letting go. I applaud Charlie Brown's optimism that maybe this time he'll kick the football. Can I have turned this into? Well, the question is about romance, but Lucy's going to pull that football away because of her own thing. That's Lucy's thing. That has nothing to do with Charlie Brown. And I applaud Charlie Brown's optimism, but there's a point at which optimism and realism must meet. Charlie Brown shouldn't be trying to kick that football anymore, and that's Charlie Brown's problem, not Lucy's.
Yeah. We're in the same line of thinking. Unrequited love is real, and unrequited love can hurt. And missing that football can hurt, and that is real. I don't want anyone to think, because I lived that, man. Those tears I cried were real. But after a while, yes, you kind of look at Sir Jorah Mormont and go, buddy, what were you doing? Stop. And I think that's what I would say to Charlie. maybe find another football, man. She's gonna have to. She has to pull it. She doesn't want you to kick her football. All right.
Yeah, I think it's just a prank. I think it's just a prank. But if it is a metaphor, Charlie must learn. Charlie must learn.
That's truly ForceCenter looks at peanuts
with wonderful enunciation.
Yes, peanuts. Thank you, Adam. That's a very fun question there, and we appreciate the super chat. Addie had this one here for a weirdest hobby. It might surprise us. You have, and I saw this very early in the show, 2:26 p.m., and I've been afraid to bring it up because I don't know that answer. I don't know if I have hobbies. Work is my hobby.
Yeah, I don't have enough room for hobbies. Yeah,
I'm trying to like this is this Addie. This just got depressing because you and I even kind of joke about that. Like we kind of love working. We kind of put our heads down and do work. And it doesn't mean you have a lot of things to do in your life. And you and Sarah go vacations and hike and do like Grace and I do as well. But like. Man, if I have downtime, if it's not just playing video games is my little relaxation, I wouldn't even call it a hobby. But like other than that, like, I've got to work. I got to do a live stream. I got to write a song. I got a poem. I got to do something. And that's so now, Addie, your question has made me reflect on who I am.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably in the category that I think a ton of people are these days in the gig economy and in the revolution of Twitch and YouTube streaming. That I have probably turned a lot of my hobbies into something that I also do for work. I still enjoy them, but I do them for. Do you feel that way, Ken? I mean, you video game live stream. Do you feel like video gaming is still a hobby, or does it tip into now? This is also one of the many arrows in my quiver of indie income.
It is, but I don't do it enough, and I don't do enough to make, I could make more money if I did it type of situation. I think there's part of the reason is there's some days I usually stream on Wednesdays about 3 p.m. my time. There's some days I sit down and I don't want to do it because I just want to, and I might be playing with often on my streams. If I play Fortnite, I stream with Ken Plume and Lauren Romo of the Galactic Podcast and our buddy Don Long. I play with them offline, and there's sometimes they're just playing them and no stream is relaxing versus all right, but I have fun and I always have fun and they're fun and the people in the chat are fun. So yeah, I think that's a built-in balance that I have. But even then, like I would say music, it's not a weird hobby, but like music has always been part of my life clearly, but being in radio and in and out of it. But now that I do it again with pop rock and radio, there's some days I just want to listen to music and not broadcast it. So there's a weird balance to be found. Yeah. And I fail at it sometimes.
Yeah. I think probably hobby wise, it's just anything that isn't art, which I love doing, which I had more time for everything, draw and paint and write more and all that stuff. But the different kinds of collecting, everybody knows about action figures. But my dad gave me a gift card for Target for my birthday, and I bought which I haven't done in a long time. I bought a bunch of trading cards.
Yeah.
And I haven't done this since I was maybe, late teens. I'm really looking forward to going and buying some sleeves.
Yeah.
And collecting some trading cards and putting them all in their correct little sleeves.
Oh, that's relaxing.
I don't think that surprises anyone though.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you're seeing, I'm having a problem in StreamYard where the comments have stopped coming. I was like,
I just thought we were boring the hell out of our listeners. Yes.
I'm in the YouTube studio and people are still listening, Joseph.
Yeah, because I was like looking at the numbers, but like, yeah, they stopped about 10 minutes ago.
I was like, they're really upset at our takes on Charlie and Lucy, but
they do not like the New Beverly Theater talk.
There you go. So I'm going to try to go through those the stuff there. Great stuff. Great responses. I just see Charlie Ashby saying "good grief," and that's all I saw there on that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't refresh my screen because then we'll lose the stream. But
okay, fair enough.
So we'll power through that there as we get it. But thank you, Addie, for that question there. Anything as I try to fix this quietly, Joseph? Anything jumping out to you there?
Yeah. Here's a great music question from the Saber Smith. First vinyl record you owned, if any?
I don't own a lot. I still don't own a lot.
Did you buy cassettes when you were a kid?
I did, yeah, cassette CDs, all that kind of stuff. But our time, vinyl was out and it wasn't hip, right? It eventually becomes hip to kind of collect it.
Super hip now.
Yeah, and I do have a bunch of them now. I made sure I got Liz Phair's Exile on Guyville. I have a lot of Steve Martin comedy albums. I have a lot of Beatles stuff. A friend of mine, actually, an old pal of mine, Jeff, my hometown would, every time I'd visit, be like, "Oh, I found some more." He would collect them, and so I'd get a stack. So I have a bunch of them now. But the first one, you know what? I gotta say, the first one I actually took, I'll just say it. It's the classic and much at times maligned but celebrated Star Wars holiday album with Anthony Daniels singing, bells, bells, bells. I that might have been the first one I actually had and took home.
Do you remember your first cassette or whatever you bought? Like, that's not like a big formative memory for you of the first time you bought music with your own money?
It was Beatles stuff. I owned. I was given the Beatles rarities and the Beatles Red and Blue album, that kind of greatest hits. And then the Beatles rarity album kind of scared me. I was like, well, there's songs in German, and what's this Revolution Number 9? And You Know My Name, look up the number. I was like 10. I didn't know any of this stuff.
Number
so
nine,
that
number
and
9.
then CD wise, it was Magical Mystery Tour. I think was the first one I bought.
Wow,
and I love it.
Yeah,
Blue Jay Way, like all that stuff. But like, yeah. You?
My brother and I pooled our allowance money because we've been hearing a song on the radio, and they're like, yeah, I think my dad was like, and they've got a whole album. I'm like, what? It was it was the Stray Cats. They've been playing Stray Cat Strut, and Built for Speed, and the first record I bought, first CD I bought, because it took a long time to get a CD player. I didn't even have a CD player. I had a PlayStation 1, and I bought License to Ill. Oh no, I think Ken has refreshed. I'm alone. I was alone.
I fixed it. Sorry, there might have been a quick echo. I just had to go into StreamYard again. So there was 2 StreamYards of me going at once here.
And I was suddenly all alone for a second. My face got large.
Right.
It was sort of like, deal with yourself.
Now everyone's comments are back up there. And I just see Rona going, do you guys have time to read? I try. I don't always.
I have been on a revolution in the last week. I had an epiphany that I am very, very lucky to mostly set my own schedule, that I could choose to like read for a half an hour in the morning. And I've been doing that the last week, and it's great because I have so many books I want to read and are physically piled up in my home.
That's great. I've been taking some time. I'm about racing through The Storm Is Here, American Crucible, the story, the war correspondent covering everything that led up to January 6th. And I'm making a point. And I'm reading one of the Space Wars books, that the most recent ones, that I'm actually enjoying that too, but taking my time.
Yeah. I just read the first Agatha Christie's first novel, in the first Hercule Poirot novel, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, and it is great. Loved it. Turns out that famous author is real good.
This just breaks my heart here. This breaks my heart. This is a question now that I can see it. Came in about
I can't see him yet. Just so you know.
You can't see anything? Okay.
They cut off,
What I suggest you do is, on another tab, Joseph, open up StreamYard again and go back into the studio, and I'll remove you from this one, and you should be good. You might.
Okay.
But I have to deal with this emotionally. The Cali Kid says, how do you feel about the impending end of the beloved Tortilla Joe's at Downtown Disney? I can't take this.
I didn't know.
I mean, that the last meal I had there was you and Brian Ward, and if that's the last one I've had, that's a good way to go out. But that breaks my heart. What are they going to put in there, Cali Kid? Bob Iger's Unrealistic Expectations restaurant? Like, what goes there? Like, what? All right, here we go. I'm going to add this and remove this. You were up. There you go. Can you hear me? You're good.
Yeah.
So now you can close out the other one you were in.
Okay. I was enjoying the mechanical echo for just a second there, but
yes.
Okay. Oh, look at all these nice comments.
Yes. We're back. We're back, baby.
We're back.
Thank you, Cali Kid. This breaks my heart. I don't know what I don't know. Restaurants come and go. There's been many Sizzlers that have closed over the years, and I can deal with it, but that breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, now I'm just reading comments.
Yeah, no, it talk about like, we're professional performers, but I saw after a while, I was like, there's nothing coming in. These people hate us now. Suddenly, I'm just going to keep going here. I'm going to keep going here.
There's a lot of good ones. Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Work can be a hobby. Just shift your mindset. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, all this good stuff there. LQ says, not exactly related to albums, but how many cassette players like the Walkman did you go through? I think I broke 3 or 4. That's a good question. I had at least 2 or 3, but I listened to most of my cassettes. I listened to on a clock radio and a boombox in my room. I didn't go walking. My mom she didn't trust the streets of Arroyo Grande, California. So I didn't go walking a lot.
Yeah, I think I only had one, and I think it was a hand-me-down from my brother. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can confirm that the chat is again froze on me. So StreamYard it's like you hit the 2-hour mark. It's too much. So.
Go do something else, guys, is what feels like the StreamYard is saying to us. Well, we have plenty of questions that I've added up here. So should we grab a couple of those?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Here's a bigger one from George Ramirez. How are you guys staying positive during the strikes? Do you get the sense it's heading in the positive direction for the writers? Great to catch you all live. Support your actors and writers. Yeah, I mean, I think it's not around the corner a positive direction, because I think I don't know how closely people are following, but the producers still seem to think that they can kind of easily break the unions, and with the writers turn them against one another. Some tactics that maybe worked better before social media, when the writers could communicate with one another and with the world better. But the producers called for a media blackout, and then they offered an agreement that the writers were never going to accept, and then to try to get the public on their side, leaked it, even though they called for a blackout. And there's even a question of if that violating labor law. They're not supposed to share their agreement. So you look at that kind of stuff and go, oh wow, we're nowhere close to this resolving. And that's just with one of the unions. But I think for me, looking in the big picture to see how much the writers and the actors amongst themselves and together continue to stay united, and then to see, I didn't get a lot of details on this, so if there are more details I'm missing, but to see that a huge amount of auto workers voted that they are, like 97% of them, according to a headline I saw, are willing to strike, is this reminder that there are some things specific about WGA and SAG-AFTRA that are some specific details to entertainment industry, but it's a labor issue, and it's going on so many places where people who have amassed so much of the money and are so used to being the ones in control just kind of can't believe that all the little people would band together and go no. So I'm staying positive in that. I think incoming inequality is broken in America, and to see so many people across a spectrum of professions and ideologies to come together and go, we need to be paid fairly. This is the basement of the American dream, to be paid fairly. That gives me a lot of hope to see the amount of solidarity, not just for the entertainment industry, but across industries, that this is happening at the same time.
Yeah, big well said there. I don't have any additional insights, but just talking with folks, the lines aren't broken at all. Everyone wants it to end, and everyone's hopeful. And sometimes I think, as you've been talking off air and maybe even on air, about 2 weeks ago on a Friday, I was at 2 different locations, and I heard 3 independent people say that I heard the same rumor that it was ending soon. And I think who knows if that was leaked, if that was true, but it was independent of each other in 3 different sources, because everyone wants to hear that news. They want that But the thing for me is, I think both guilds have already won in my mind. It's just a matter of time, right? Just a matter of time. That they're not going to be broken, and that doesn't mean there's not going to be negotiations. They want a actual negotiation. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, there's some things we might have to give up on. The numbers might be as high. Of course, it's not a slam dunk win on either side. That's not how this works.
It's not gonna be. No,
not gonna be. But I think it's just a matter of I saw Tony Gilroy's comments. I watched his little speech in New York the other day, and I think he said some things that were right, that they don't know what the F they're doing, that they are a little out of touch in a lot of ways, but also the social media side of it, how the information is checked a little bit more, and all those things. I had another friend tell me that don't worry, the riders aren't going homeless. They are not going to lose because there's a war chest behind a lot of this, and this is built for the long haul. So to me, it's like change. It's like societal change. If you fight societal change out there, whether you're a stand-up comic who's out there to fight the woke people or a politician on stage in a debate, you've already lost. You have already lost because the change is going to happen. It's how you deal with it. And I think that's what's going on here.
Well said to you as well, Ken. And shifting gears emotionally, Lauren Romo has a very important question for you, Ken. Lauren says, hey there, longtime listener, first-time caller. Question is for Ken. Ken, favorite part of the new chapter in Fortnite? Love the show.
Okay, Lauren, this is cheeky. This is cheeky from Romo because she knows I've had about 10 minutes to play it. I had a 99-hour download of the new file, the Fortnite, which I just love the game. And
99-hour.
But here's what happened. I walked away and I left, and this show was about an hour from happening. And I walked away, finished my lunch out in the living room. When I came back, it was downloaded. I just moved out of the room. The PS5 went into rest mode. I brought up. So I've only had about 10 to 15 minutes. I like a lot of the new scopes on the weapons, and I like that there's some good NPC characters running around that cause problems, but they're easy to defeat. And and I'm not a car guy in real life as much. I like nice cars. I just don't know them. Never was in that world. They've got some new vehicles that are classic, like 64 Mustang type of power engine cars, some power, some motor car, some Lucas would appreciate them. And I like that so far. So there you go. But at some point tonight, I'll play a little bit longer.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so Ken, we said we were wrapping up in about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Got a handful of questions. Do you want to go deep or do you want to go fun?
I'm good for one deep and then maybe two quick funs.
That's going to be my pop hit that I'm going to try to write. One deep, two fun.
One deep and two quick funs.
Okay, so
2002. Yeah. Okay.
I'm shopping for dress shoes at Sears. All right, here's a Cold Streeter has the one deep. My wife and I have had the age-old discussion of, does art imitate life or is life influenced by art? What are your thoughts?
We're so far down, and art goes for clearly all of humanity. But I look at, I'll break it down into the pop culture art side of things, where I think life influences art, and art is how we talk and communicate and process life. But then sometimes the art about life becomes life. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, it's the Saturday Night Live thing. We'll talk about that for 1 second. It started out attacking the entertainment landscape and culture at the time, and was groundbreaking in 75, and eventually became the culture. And you can't stop that. That's kind of how it happens. So sometimes that's how I look at art, where we're just, I don't know. Like, am I living a Joseph Campbell hero's journey in my own life, or is that just inspired by my life? You know what I mean? Like that's I ran out of Trulies to answer that in the best way.
Yeah, I think it's both. And I think on the life influenced by art, I think that mainly happens when you're younger and you're not really aware that you're absorbing some, like, that's the way it is. That's the way the world is. But I think that artists put in things that they think are just sort of like accepted, that that's a truth of the world, and they can, teach them. I'm not of the proponent of if you see violence, people are just going to do it. I think I've told this story before. I remember um, there was it's sad tragedy of some kid attacked somebody with a sword, and the newspaper article was all about like, we found DVDs of the movie Highlander, bad movies. And I was currently in a production of Macbeth, which is all about killing people with swords, and like, but everybody's fine with that. So like, I'm not in the like, do you see the activity and people absolutely immediately without thought parrot it. But I think art absolutely imitates life, because it is our way of processing life. Even if it is utterly bonkers in the surface, the great art to me is emotionally true about what it is to be a human and how we deal with different challenges. The art imitates life, or life is influenced by art. I mentioned it recently in the podcast too. I think about Cheers, which is a sitcom that I deeply love. And I think the writers were just trying to write something funny that was true to their life, but there were a lot of assumptions about gender dynamics in it that I think the writers were reflecting what they saw in the world, but they passed it to me. And not just Cheers. I think about that because I rewatched it recently. But when everywhere you go, say men are like this and women are like this, and this is how romance goes and this is how love goes, it's hard not to absorb some of that. So that's the way that I've been thinking about, like, it's not you put one action out and somebody's just going to copy it. But if you hear the same message from art a bunch, and I think that's why as an artist, you get to really decide, like, you don't just have to reflect what is, you can reflect what you want to be, or a truth that is there that maybe not everybody else gets to see, but just really having as artists making choices about what you want to put, how you want to reflect life in your art, knowing that it might affect people.
Yeah. No, I really agree with that in terms of, especially talking about the like gender dynamics with romance. Like, you keep seeing Charlie Brown try to kick that football. So you think that's what you got to do.
That's how you get girls to like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that was one deep. Do you have a fun?
Yes, I've saw this a couple times. Anakin Crespin says, sorry, I can't bring up on the screen. Where would you land on each other's top 8 friends on MySpace?
I forgot the brutality of that. That was not any algorithm thing. You selected, right?
You selected. You like slid them into the position, if I remember correctly.
You let all your other friends know that they were just a POS to you.
They're not in the top 8. Was it always top 8, or did it stop like top? Was it like top 4 to 8 to top 16? At one point, I remember it expanded. I remember thinking, "Phew, all right, I can add some people," but I can't remember that exactly. So
you're thinking about this. You're thinking about this pretty hard.
Oh no, I'm just trying to remember the years of that. No.
You were like, would he make the top 8?
You would absolutely be in my top 8. The difference is, and I think we've known each other now coming on since 2014, almost 10 years. You're a friend, and you're a friend first, but also our relationship has been built out from this. So it's easy, or could be easy, to be like, I don't need to put Joseph in my top 8. I see him every Monday. You know what I mean? So I need to acknowledge 3 friends from high school, that girl I have a crush on, a work employee, or about, like, and so that might be it. And then we work from there. But you'd be top 8 worthy, whether or not top 8 was a political negotiation with the society around you. You're not going away, right?
Okay.
Unless you sell a film and we can't do ForceCenter, like, you're going to be there every Monday. But you're definitely, I'd put you in top 8.
I like this. I think it's a very good answer, and I'll steal it. That Ken is in my top 8, or can be privately explained why he's not in my top 8.
Right. It wouldn't hurt my feelings or your feelings.
Right. If you're like, in my heart, you're top 8, man. But I got these political considerations. I got to put Lucy in there.
Lucy's football, she got to be in there.
Lucy and her football. She's got a separate MySpace page for her football.
And Schroeder's sensitive. I need to put him in there.
Why is your top 8 only cartoon characters? Like,
And this guy, he books me at the Belly Room, the Comedy Store. If I don't put him in my top 8, I don't get a set.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, and someone in the chat's asking, wait, 8984M, MySpace rank friends? Yes. Yes, this is where the society really went wrong. We had to choose who our top friends were.
Yep. And here we go, Ken, I think with our we're not choosing top 8s, just our favorite last fun question.
Okay.
From Sean DeGroot. What is your favorite spaghetti sauce?
4 cheese.
Classico?
4 cheese. Classico 4 cheese. I don't need no meat sauce. I put the meat in. 4 cheese.
This is why we're in one another's top 8, or explain why we're not in the top 8. My wife has been doing most of the cooking for us for a long time. She's been getting home late from work, and I was like, I can't make the really great gourmet pasta sauce that you make, but I'm going to cook dinner when you're on the way home so we can have an earlier evening. This was just last week. And it's like, I can't make the pasta sauce, so I'm just going to go get a pasta sauce that I used to have back in the day. And it was the Classico 4 cheese.
So great. It's
so good.
Now, the problem is what happens afterwards is the heartburn and stomach problems caused by the sauce means I just can't have the sauce. But it's a memory for me now. But
I got a half a jar. I'm going to go just guzzle some raw.
I'm going to go make some orange chicken on rice tonight. So we're all good. Well, there you go. I think we did.
There we go.
I apologize to all if we missed your question. I don't think we missed any super chats. We try to make sure we hit all those. Also, I apologize for StreamYard, which has been relatively reliable for the entire time we've used it over all these years. Has frozen the chat room, so we missed maybe some of your ongoing conversations. But you're all the best. All the best. A lot of people excited about the 4 cheese. We're good there. We're good.
Okay, we're good. We ended on a high note. 4 cheese Classico.
4 cheese Classico. All right, we got OtherCenter episodes coming this week. You know where to find us. Links down below. A lot of fun. Joseph, any final words that you want to say?
No, just in this strange and trying time on social media, check out Blue Sky if you can get an invite and follow us there. Other than that, thank you all so much for your support. This has been a really scary but wonderful adventure.
It has indeed. We'll see you next time here on OtherCenter. Bye.
Thanks for watching ForceCenter. To follow us on Twitter, reach out at ForceCenterPod. We're on Hive Social at ForceCenter. On Instagram, we are at ForceCenterPod. Our Facebook page is ForceCenter Podcast. The podcast is available in a lot of different spots like Acast, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. Just search, you'll find us. Want ForceCenter merch? Go to tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. Want to support us directly? You can at patreon.com/ForceCenter. For social links for the hosts and guests of ForceCenter, check the links in the description below. That's it for now. We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter.